also the one who won in 2001. Let's start on that premise. Yesterday, Scott Hatterberg said something that I think is totally innocuous. He said it's going to be Cy Young against a Cy Old. I don't think he meant anything negative about it, but do you think that they're going to use that, the Yankees, to maybe juice them up any more than they need to?
I think that's an old Mike Flanagan line that Kenny knows when he used to call Jim Palmer Cy Old. He was Cy Young, Storm Davis was Cyclone, and Steve Stone was Sayonara. So they're just having fun with it.
So you don't think how about Roger? You know how Roger can use anything to motivate
I think they have the greatest respect for Roger. And, you know, just to put this in perspective, you don't see duels like this that often for Yankee fans. You'd have to go back to like an Allie Reynolds versus Bob Feller, or Ron Guidry versus Jim Palmer, or Mike Flanagan. Those kinds of matchups, they just don't happen very often.
All right, Jim, we know what Roger Clemens is about. We see him all the time. What about Zito? Is he the real deal?
Well, he won the Cy Young Award last year, and he had a pretty good year the year before that. So the unusual thing about Barry Zito, and we're finding that with left-handers a lot these days, they actually get right-handers out better. He's got a tremendous overhand curveball and a great changeup. Good command of all three pitches, throws exceptionally hard.
Now, we might really be into this, that we're watching these two great pitchers go at it. And, Kenny, I guess the question goes to you. When you're a hitter and you come to the ballpark and you see Roger Clemens or Barry Zito on the board, how do you attack that? Do you look at that and relish the thought, or do you say, gee, I don't really want to do this today?
No, I think you really know you're in for a challenge when you're facing pitchers of this magnitude. And when you go into a ball game like this as a hitter, you know it's going to be a tough day to get some hits, but you feel as though if you do get a hit, you want it to come at the right time. It can make a difference in the ball game. Drive in a run or two, and maybe that could be the difference in a tight ball game, which you will expect with these type of pitchers.
Now, you always say 2 hits is a good day, 3 hits is a great day. What would be a great day against Barry Zito?
You know, 1 hit at the right time.
Really?
1 hit, maybe in the 7th or 8th inning to put your team in the lead.
Now, one guy who got 1 hit yesterday was Jason Giambi, and it was a big hit. It tied the game in the 9th inning. Does that get him over the hump, you think, Jim?
We'll find out today. I mean, you know, it's the same. Every day is a new day, but I think confidence-wise, you know, that home run was big. If the Yankees would have won yesterday's game, it would have been tremendous. But do you find it against Barry Zito? I mean, if you're hitting against an ordinary pitcher, but it's pretty hard to break out of a slump and then say, well, I got it together and hit it. You could go 0 for 4 against Barry Zito and still be a great hitter.
Kenny, when you break out of a slump like that with a big base hit, do you have a different mindset the next day, no matter who the pitcher is?
I think you are comfortable after that ball game's over that you got a big hit and you helped your team out if you could. Unfortunately for the Yankees, they lost the game. It does give you more confidence when you have come through. But you know it's a day-to-day thing as a hitter because you're used to being out there on a daily basis. When you're a pitcher and you have a bad outing, you have to sit around and wait 4, maybe 5 days before you get out there again. As a hitter, you have a good day, you got to, you know, it was nice, but you got to play again the next day.
Well, we're playing today, and we are looking forward to it. Yankees against the A's, Clemens against Zito. And really, if you're watching this and you turn off the TV, Bob, you have to have your head examined.
I'm going to have my head examined. I do it regularly. It's like an oil change. Anyway, guys, we'll see you again at the top of the hour. Look forward to it.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Roger Clemens, as we know, is not only counting down the clock to his first pitch, he is counting down to historic victory number 300. So let's look at how he has progressed in his quest thus far this season. At 40, Roger Clemens is the oldest in New York's rotation and their #1 man, a born leader with the numbers to back it up. Roger Clemens started the season just 7 wins away from 300. Let's take a look back at how the Rocket has gotten to 4-1, just 3 wins from that milestone. Opening day, Toronto, Canada. No strange game plan for Roger. He took it to the Jays right away. His first victim, Vernon Wells, and shortly after, Eric Hinsky looking. The Rocket would follow up the first inning by ending the second with a strikeout of Ken Huckabee. Clemens would add 3 more Ks on the night and allow no runs. It was then up to the offense. First, Robin Ventura with a 2-run shot, nudging New York ahead by 3. And then Alfonso Soriano belted a grand slam that would assure the Yankees an opening day win and win #1 for Clemens.
6 innings for Clemens, 3 hits, and if the bullpen does its job, he will have win number 294 as he inches closer to the magic 300.
April 6th, Tampa, Florida. The theme of run support for the Yankee staff continued. First inning, back-to-back home runs. Alfonso Soriano stroking his 3rd of the year, and then Nick Johnson his 1st. Clemens would do his part by taking down 6 Devil Ray batters over 7 innings, including 4 strikeouts of Rocco Baldelli. Clemens did allow 4 runs, but New York's 10 runs would be enough for Rogers' 295th career win.
It's a mark of a great pitcher. I mean, a team puts up a couple runs. The next inning is so important just to go out there and don't let the other team get back in the game.
April 18th, and yet another dome, this time Minnesota. The theme of this game would be a little offense, a little defense. Offense, Soriano provided that with yet another leadoff home run. Defense, Roger got ugly on the Twins' Gold Glove winner, Torrey Hunter, looking. Offense, Robin Ventura launching this fastball a very long way into the upper deck and upping the New York lead to 2. Defense, Clemens in the 4th. Pierzynski sit down. Rivas sit down. Not done yet, 5th inning. Guzman sent packing, and Hunter for a second time.
The strikeout pitch has been there for Roger Clemens, and Twins with only 5 hits.
Offense, Ventura adding insult to injury with his second homer of the night in the 7th, increasing the lead to 9-1. The total's 4 Yankee homers. Roger fans 8 and 6 for win number 296. Rematch of the American League Division Series, Game 1. Clemens 3-0 and back in Anaheim. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Alfonso Soriano leads off the game with his 8th homer of the year. And Clemens responds with 3 strikeouts in the first 2 innings. Eckstein, Salmon, and finally, Brad Fulmer. Backing up the Rocket in the field was Raul Mondesi, who not only provided some defense, but offense as well, with a 2-run shot in the 5th inning, his 6th of the year. Clemens just 3 wins away from history.
Like all good finishers, you know, he can see the finish line, you know, and he's going to go across it in style.
Back in the Bronx, and the Rocket is 4-0 with no wins at home. And Clemens came out dealing, quickly dismissing and then Randy Wynn. But he did leave one a little high for Brett Boone, who hits a solo shot to left. Not forgetting that, Clemens made Boone's next 2 at-bats unforgettable. But it was not to be Rogers' day as Edgar Martinez took him deep in the 6th for the 4th of the 4 runs Clemens would give up on this day. The Yankees offense shut down and held scoreless. The Rocket suffered his first loss of the season. All in all, Roger Clemens has numbers on the year and has a career that cannot be ignored. With a win today against the Athletics, he could be just 2 away from what no one has done since Nolan Ryan did almost 10 years ago, winning his 300th. In addition to chasing 300 wins, the Rocket is also closing in on 4,000 strikeouts and drawing a beat on Steve Carlton for 2nd place among all-time strikeout leaders. If he stays healthy and decides to return next season, at his current pace, the Rocket could surpass lefties sometime in May or June of 2004. Well, still ahead, Jason Giambi's late game homer juiced up the stadium yesterday, but Eric Chavez had the last word. We're going to check out who joins those 2 in the lineups next.
The New York Yankees pregame show is brought to you in part by Corona Extra. Relax and enjoy an ice-cold Corona Extra.
And welcome back to the Yankees pregame on Yes. I'm Bob Lorenz filling in again today for Fred Hickman. Well, let's show you how managers Ken Maka and Joe Torre have filled in their Sunday lineup cards. For the visiting Athletics, 2nd baseman Mark Ellis leads off, followed by Scott Hatteberg at 1st. Now, both of them broke out of their slumps yesterday, going a combined 4 for 10 in the ballgame. Eric Chavez had already gone 2 for 4 on the day when he took Juan Acevedo deep in the top of the 10th to break the 3-all tie and help give the A's the victory. That was Chavez's 3rd home run in 4 days. For the season, he's hitting .278 with 7 home runs and 14 RBI. 4 of his home runs this season have either tied or given the A's the lead. Eric is a .250 hitter against Roger Clemens in his career. Miguel Tejada continues to struggle with just 4 hits in his last 20 at-bats. Rubio Durazo will DH today. Ruby's 24 RBI are 7th best in the league. Terrence Long went 2 for 4 with a double yesterday, while Eric Burns saw his 8-game hitting streak come to a halt. Chris Singleton has hit safely in his last 5 games, and Mark Johnson, a career 300 hitter against the Rocket, will catch and bat 9th. For the homestanding Yankees, Alfonso Soriano takes his usual spot at the top of the order. He's gone hitless in back-to-back games for only the 2nd time this season. Todd Zeile gets the start against the left-hander Zito. He has 7 hits in his last 16 at-bats for a .438 average. Zeile also has 3 of the Bombers' 8 home runs against lefties this season. Jason Giambi took some good strides to break out of his early season funk yesterday. Jason clouded a Ruthian blast off the upper deck facade in right field and knocked the ball game at 3-all in the bottom of the 9th. It was Giambi's 6th homer of the season and RBIs number 17 and 18. Jason's first 2-hit game since April 22nd raised his average to an even 200, and his 6 homers are actually 1 ahead of last season's pace through 30 games. Bernie Williams is looking for a slump-busting game of his own. He has produced just 1 hit in his last 5 games. Hideki Matsui is riding a 5-game hitting streak. Raul Mondesi has now gone hitless in consecutive games for the first time this season. Bubba Trammell gets the DH duties today. John Flaherty is going to spell Jorge Posada behind the plate. Both of his career hits off Barry Zito have left the park. And Eric Almonte rounds out the order. Well, on deck, how does last year's most valuable Yankee fare against last year's Cy Young Award winner? Soriano versus Zito, and today's other key matchups next on Yes.
Jose Soriano. I'm from Dominican Republic. I'm working hard every day and try to be better and better, and I don't know how I can be, superstar or, but the only I know is I'm working hard and try to be better and better every day. Last year, I be close to the 40-40, but I think the fans now, they forgot that, and they think about, 50-50 now, and it's easy to say, but it's not easy to do in the field because, 50-50 is an unbelievable number. I like, more steal base because I know there are no home run hitters. Oh, man, my heroes are Tony Fernandez, Dominican Republic, and Carl Ricken Jr. Any music, hip-hop, merengue, salsa, that makes me happy and makes me like a little strong to go to the home plate. It's amazing they have a guy like Willie Randall help me in the second base. It's like a father because he helped me a lot in the second base, and he is one of the best second base in the Yankees. That's what I want, when you play in the big league, want to go to the World Series and win to the World Series because everybody fight for, go to the World Series and win.
And here's an interesting little note for you. Alfonso Soriano has homered in each of Roger Clemens' victories this year. They hope he'll do it again today. Welcome back once again to the Yankees pregame on Yes. We're closing in on Game 3 between the A's and Bombers. And in today's key matchups, how does Sori fare against Barry Zito? Well, the answer is maybe not as well as he'd like. He hopes to change it, though. The big Oakland southpaw has yielded just one hit to Sori in 10 career at-bats, while striking him out 5 times. Soriano is a fastball hitter. Zito has beaten him in the past with his change and his killer curveball. Another Yankee who has suffered from bad Zito is Raul Mondesi. Monty had managed just 1 hit and 7 at-bats, but that hit cleared the wall. The Oakland starting lineup has a combined .223 lifetime average against Roger Clemens, but one A who has had an especially tough time launching anything against the Rocket has been Scott Hatteberg. He has just 1 hit and 11 career at-bats with 5 strikeouts. Now, Terrence Long often misfires against Clemens, too. The Rocket has made Long come up short 9 out of 10. As we've seen all weekend, the Yankees and the A's have assembled 2 of the strongest rotations in the American League over the past 3 years. And coming up, 2 more of the top winners, Roger Clemens and Barry Zito, will go head-to-head at the stadium. And right now it is time to play ball. Michael Kay, Jim Cott, and Ken Singleton are set to call the action for the Bronx, and we'll see you right back here for the Yankees postgame. So for now, enjoy the game, everyone, right here on Yes.
Young, 2001. Cy Young, 2002. Cy Older. Cy Younger. 6 Cy Youngs. 1 and counting. The past and present hooks up with the present and future. Baseball royalty in baseball's palace. Yankees A's next on Yes. It is ring day here at Yankee Stadium, and that could be a portent of things to come. One of these teams might be getting rings sometime in October. We'll have to see. Today, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. The rubber game of a 3-game set between the Oakland Athletics and the New York Yankees here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. And what a dandy. Cy Young Award winner, Barry Zito. Cy Young Award winner, Roger Clemens. Clemens has 6 of them. Zito's building his trophy case, and it should be a great game. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with Jim Cott and Ken Singleton. I'm Michael Kay. This really is the type of game that you would pay to come in and see. It's that good. These 2 pitchers are absolutely outstanding. Let's talk first about yesterday's game. The Yankees, so much emphasis has been put on their pitching and on their home runs, but yesterday they flashed defense. They've been doing that all year, Jim.
Well, they have, Michael, and even if Zito and Clemens pitch well, you have to play well behind them, and this is what the Yankees did yesterday. Nice play by Soriano. And a good stretch by Nick Johnson. Great sliding catch by Posada. And Robin Ventura had quite a day at third base, starting a double play and catching a couple of tough pop-ups. The Yankees have actually allowed fewer unearned runs than any team in the American League. And this was a picture-perfect relay throw to get Tejada at home.
And if you look at the Yankee defense this year as compared to last year, it's so much better. This season, their fielding percentage is tied for third. Last year, tied for 13th. Errors tied for third this year, 12th last year. And double plays turned 5th this year and last year. And Soriano leads American League second baseman with 23 errors last season. This season, he has just 2. Now, we can look at the defense, but you can't forget the long ball, Kenny. And the Yankees had that yesterday in a big way.
They certainly did. Jason Giambi saved his first home run of the season here at Yankee Stadium for the absolute time. He got the job done in the 9th inning. The Yankees needed this with a man aboard to tie the game. And Giambi now has 6 on the year, but that was his first one here at Yankee Stadium. But then in the top of the 10th inning, Eric Chavez, third baseman for the A's, with a 2-run shot of his own, and that was the difference in the game. A 5-3 Oakland win.
The Yankees won on Friday. Oakland won yesterday. That turns this into the rubber game. And what a rubber game it is. When we get back, we are going to tell you about one of the best pitching matchups that you will see this year. Clemens against Zito. We'll detail that when we get back on Yes. A little bit of an overcast day here at Yankee Stadium, but they are filing in, and why not? This is a great pitching matchup. I actually paid money to come into this game. That's how excited I am. The pitching matchup brought to you by Infinity, makers of innovative high-performance premium vehicles.
And that's why Michael paid money. You've got the reigning Cy Young Award winner, Barry Zito, 4-2 with a nice earned run average against the Rocket. And you know he's won plenty of Cy Youngs. And this is a look at Rocket in his last start. I thought his stuff was outstanding, but the results were not as good as the stuff. Gets Randy Wynn on a good fastball. Then Brett Boone picks on an inside fastball for a home run. And then Edgar Martinez, who has always tormented the Yankees, picks on a hanging splitter. So even though the stuff was good, Rogers coming off a losing outing.
It should be great. It really should. Zito against Clemens. If you're a baseball fan, don't even think about moving that television set. Stay right here on Yes. Barry Zito here at the stadium, a rubber game between the Yankees and the Oakland Athletics. Crowd of about 40,000 on hand here at the stadium on an overcast day. Let's take a look at the A's lineup that will face Roger Clemens. Leading off for the A's is their second baseman, Mark Ellis. Scott Hatterberg, the first baseman, bats second. Eric Chavez, the third baseman, will hit third. 5 for 18 against Clemens with a home run. Miguel Tejada, the shortstop, cleans up. The number 5 hitter, the DH, Rubio Durazo. Terrence Long in right field bats 6th. Batting 7th, playing left field, Eric Burns. Chris Singleton gets start in center field. He'll bat 8th. And batting 9th and catching, Mark Johnson.
Roger Clemens, 7th start, coming off his only loss against the Mariners. Less than a hit per inning, and amazing at his age, almost a strikeout an inning. 4th in the American League. Excellent control.
The Yes Scouting Report on the Rocket. 6-time Cy Young Award winner. Nobody has won more. He's got a super splitter and precise heat. In other words, he can put his fastball over the corners, keep it away from the middle of the plate, and he should have a pretty good outing this afternoon.
Let's take a look defensively at the Yankees. Matsui's in left, Bernie Williams in center, Raul Mondesi and right in the infield. You've got Todd Zeile at 30, has 2 errors and 9 starts this season, but of late he's been hitting the ball very well. Eric Almonte is short. Alfonso Soriano plays second. Jason Giambi, the Yankee first baseman, and John Flaherty behind the plate as Jorge Posada gets the day off with Roger Clemens on the mound. A reminder, everybody, Yankee baseball is broadcast in Spanish. It's available by hitting the SAP button on your television remote. Sit back, relax. This should be fun. We're happy to bring it to you here on the Yes Network. Everybody's settling in. Roger Clemens has the baseball. Mark Ellis digging in. Barry Zito is ready, and so are we. And here's Roger Clemens' first offering to Mark Ellis. Pitch is high. .55 degrees, first pitch temperature here at the stadium. Winds left to right, mild, 5 miles per hour. That's a pop-up to the right side. Mondesi and Soriano. Mondesi with the call, Mondesi with the catch, 1 away. Take a gander at the umpires handling this game today. Larry Poncino is behind the plate. Phil Cuzzy is at first. Jerry Crawford, the crew chief, is at second, and Brian O'Nora over at third. Odd start for Clemens last time against Seattle because it looked like he had great stuff, but he gave up 2 monster home runs, ended up losing a game. The Yankees eventually lost 6-0. Here's Scott Hatteberg. Pitches inside. Hatteberg is the one who made what could be an unfortunate comment. He said, yeah, it's going to be Cy Young against Cy Old. And then he said, you guys know I didn't mean that in a bad way.
No, that quote's been around forever, and it goes back to the famous Mike Flanagan quote about Cy, those that missed the Open. They used to call Jim Palmer Cy Old. And Mike Flanagan, I think, was the current Cy Young guy. He was Cy Young. Storm Davis, who was a young Jim Palmer, was Cy Clone. And Steve Stone was Sayonara.
2-0. There's a strike.
I think about that, Steve Stone actually did win a Cy Young Award. Yeah, he went
23-7 1 year.
25.
Yeah, 25.
Hatteberg was feeling good yesterday because he broke an 0 for 18 with 3 consecutive hits.
That one's hit deep to right field. Going back, Mondesi still back on the track. He's at the wall. See ya. A home run for Hatteberg. And just like that, the A's are on the board. They lead 1-0.
Well, like that, Hatteberg went from 0 for 18 to 4 for his last 4. 2 singles, a double, and now this home run. You know, he started trotting like he knew it was out, but look how far back it goes in the seats. It was high enough, but barely far enough to get in there for a home run.
Pitch to Chavez is outside.
And Kenny, in your scouting report, you said precise heat. And I know he's only thrown 7 or 8 pitches, but Rocket's arm angle is much lower today than it normally is. He's not on top of the ball. And that's, you know, from that angle right there, that's the key area for him. The one to Hatteberg, he left up and over the plate. And it may be just a matter of inches, but you're accustomed to seeing Roger a little more over the top.
1-1. Now, is that a manifestation of maybe fatigue?
I don't know. I wouldn't think fatigue. It might be, you know, when you're 40 years old, your arm doesn't feel the same every time you go out there. See, that would be a sign of it right there, the pitch going high and away.
2-1 pitch. A little bit low.
You know, if we matched it up with his previous start, I mean, I don't even know if you could see it on the screen, but just, you know, from watching him start after start, you look and you say, oh, his arm angle's just a little bit lower.
Rides that one upstairs, so Chavez walks on 5 pitches. Runner on first.
Here's a look at the home run by Hatteberg, and his pitch kind of centered up middle of the plate. And Kitty, you're talking about sometimes it takes a pitcher a little while to get in a groove. I mean, maybe Rocket will find it, but it's a matter when you do not have it, you hope that the other team doesn't capitalize all that much.
That's the one area John Flaherty has not caught Roger a lot, but that's the one area where a catcher can really be helpful if he's caught a pitcher over a period of time. Tim McCarver used to run out to the mound and say, you know, I don't know anything about pitching or, you know, what you're supposed to, but he said, I can tell your arm, man, you're not quite as on top, or you're not in the same slot that you normally are. Just a reminder.
There's a strike to Tejada. Clemens had given up 4 home runs, or had given up 1 home run in his first 34 innings, and now 4 home runs in his last 6 1/3 innings. He's at 297 career victories. Almost had Chavez leading.
We mentioned this during the first 2 games of the series. The Oakland A's are a station-by-station team. They do not steal many bases. They rely on the long ball, putting men on base via the base on balls, and then let somebody hit one out. They have 4 steals as a team, and Chavez has 2 of them.
Two old buddies, Chavez and Giambi, yucking it up at first. There's a splitter in the dirt. Count 1-1.
fans in Oakland will, in all probability, be treated to the same matchup. Because the Yankees go to Seattle the early part of the week, and then next weekend they'll be in Oakland. Each team has a day off tomorrow, so you could see Zito and Clemens hook up next Saturday.
Wide. Grounded softly foul. Chavez had an opinion on Giambi's home run yesterday. He said, I was kind of happy for him after all. I'm glad to see us win, but it's been really hard to see him get booed. He wasn't booed after that home run. He actually got a curtain call here at Yankee Stadium. Shows you how fickle fans can be. They'll boo you for a month, and if you hit a big home run, it's all forgotten. 1-2. A little bit low.
The starting pitchers every game, no matter what the matchup is, always set the tone for the game. And Roger today is kind of going in slow motion. He's not quite into it yet. As Kenny said, some of the great pitchers, it takes him an inning or two to get into the game. But we're usually seeing, used to seeing Roger a little more animated than he is today.
You know, you're speaking of Giambi being booed. I think the fans boo in frustration of not being able to cheer for you. If you understand what I mean. They want to let you, you know, they want to give you, show you how much they adore what you do and what they like what you do. And Giambi, like he's been holding back.
2-2 upstairs. I'll tell you what, though, he must have a goodness of heart, because there are some, and if I were a ball player and I got booed for a month, I hit a home run, they wanted a curtain call, I would not come out. Well, that would bother me.
It's because you could be obnoxious to people. See, Giambi's not that way. He's just a good-hearted guy.
That's what I said. He has a goodness of soul. Right. Obviously, I don't. And I'm comfortable with that.
I know you are.
Runner goes. The 3-2 is fouled back.
You know, in retrospect, what Kenny had said and the fan reaction, every time he comes up, they're on their feet clapping. Like Kenny said, they want him to do well. And then when he doesn't, I mean, that's the knowledgeable New York fans. And they're booing not because they dislike him, just because they're disappointed that he didn't do well. I think you pointed up the other night that Buck Showalter had said to you one day, fans here don't come to see the Yankees play, they come to see the Yankees win.
Absolutely. Runner goes again. The 3-2 is hit deep to left field, but Matsui has room. And he'll make the play on the back pedal as Chavez heads back to first.
Been a frustrating year for Miguel Tejada, at least thus far. You figure when he and Giambi break out, it's going to be big time. Players who have had track records usually end up near what they've done in the past. But there's different ways of going about it. Sometimes you can be steady, have a steady year, and other years you start out poorly and then really jump on the, put the pedal to the metal.
You see the difference between this year and a year ago. About 140 points on the batting average. The home runs are even, but some people believe that the vacuum baseball card's always going to be the same at the end of the year, or somewhere close. Here's Durazo. Everything seems to be up in the zone.
Yeah, there's that. He is, I don't even know if he's conscious of it, but you know, some days your arm feels like it weighs about 80 pounds, and then you've heard Roger use the expression before, the ball's really coming out of my hand nicely. And today, so far, it looks like his arm is a little heavy.
There's a strike. I'm still a little bit staggered. I'm off a week, or one day. It seems like a week, and I get just bludgeoned by you.
Yeah, we conspired.
That was set out of love.
Yeah, obnoxious. Yeah, that's love. I feel the love.
You know that.
Yeah, yesterday we conspired against you.
The 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1 and 2.
You know, if we would just ignore you, that would be different.
Yeah, I've always heard that growing up when people picked on me. You know, if we didn't like you, we wouldn't say anything. Try that.
Yeah.
It's 1-0 Oakland over the Yankees. A home run by Hatterberg. Chavez leads off first. Durazo is at the plate with a 1-2 count. Fans into it. And the 1-2. Just missed outside. Clemens took a step toward the Yankee dugout, but Larry Poncino said not too quick, so the count 2-2.
Good veteran move by Clemens. He's trying to sell the call. Rogers had to labor this inning, and he'd love to get out of it. Thought maybe he had that on the corner. Larry Poncino saw it. See, Flaherty's setting up well outside.
This will be Clemens' 23rd pitch. Runner goes. The pitch is high, and no throw is made. Clemens did not pay much attention to Chavez, so a stolen base for him, and that is his 3rd of the year.
I said the A's do not steal very often. The team has 5. He has 3 of them. It was a good move to get himself in the scoring position with 2 outs.
And the 3-2. Swung and a miss. He struck him out. So Clemens works out of more trouble. For the A's here in the first, 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left. Durazo chases a pitch away. He goes down on strikes. The A's won. The Yankees coming to bat. Zito has a 1-run lead as he takes the mound here in the bottom of the first inning. Let's take a look at Joe Torre's Yankee lineup. It's somewhat familiar. A couple of tweaks here and there. Alfonso Soriano leads off. He'll play second. The third baseman, Todd Zeile, will bat second. Batting third and playing first base, Jason Giambi. Bernie Williams cleans up. He'll play center field. The number 5 hitter is the left fielder, Hideki Matsui. Raul Mondesi's in right field, batting 6th. Batting 7th, the DHing Bubba Trammell. John Flaherty will catch. He'll bat 8, 2 for 7. 2 home runs against Zito. And Eric Almonte, the shortstop, is going to bat 9th.
Barry Zito will take the mound for the 7th time, 4-2. Good hit per inning ratio. Not what you'd call a strikeout pitcher, and actually with 7 right-hand hitters in the lineup, better against, as Kenny's showing in his scouting report, he really is better against righties.
Yeah, here's the scouting report. He's probably got the league's best curveball. It is a dandy compared to Sandy Koufax by Joe Torre. Right-handed batters are hitting 183. Left-handed batters are hitting over 300 at 304.
So Soriano digs in. Zito is ready, the defending Cy Young Award winner. And the pitch is a strike.
And if you want a reason inside those numbers, it's not clear cut, but usually when you see a pitcher like Zito and left-hand hitters hit him better than righties, there's a reason for it. That pitch right there, the curveball, can be much more effective to right-hand hitters, but if they happen to leave that curveball on the inner half of the plate, lefties can do some damage with it, and he has an outstanding changeup.
Grounded out to third. Chavez across the diamond, 1 away.
I think that was a changeup right there, and that's why he's very effective against right-hand hitters. But if you hang that curve to lefties, and it'd be interesting to see how he goes at Giambi, his former teammate. You hang that curve to lefties, goes a long ways.
I think one of the reasons why lefties have a better average, because most managers try and stack right-handed hitters in there against them. So if you're a left-handed hitter facing Zito, you are a quality left-handed hitter.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's only facing the best lefties.
Pitch to Zeile is a strike. If you look at Zito on the rubber, he is on the extreme third base side. What does that do, Jim? Why is he there?
Gives him better angle at the outside corner. See,
outside corner to righties?
Yes, that would be the pitch right there. With his arm angle, his whole body is kind of geared toward going toward the outside corner.
1-1. So that's the pitch that helps him throw.
See, he reminds me, you mentioned Koufax's curveball, but he reminds me too a little of Steve Carlton, in that lefty during his great years was totally unaware of who the hitter was. He's just playing catch with the catcher.
That's foul ball.
You could do that when you had the stuff with Steve Carlton. I mean, you get an ordinary lefty out there, he is scrambling to get people out. And Barry Zito, Steve Carlton, Sandy Koufax, great left-handers. You're right. When they go out there, they're going to be out there for a while.
Well, Rick Peterson, their pitching coach, there's Rick right there, has done a great job with his staff. He tries to train all the pitchers that all you are is a glove hitter. In other words, the only thing in your mind is hit the glove, hit the target. And that's why I don't think you'll see Zito very distracted at all. He's a lefty. Most lefties have some unusual habits, and you know he's sort of a Zen master. He's locked into what he's doing.
Popped up behind the plate. Johnson, 2 away.
Mark Johnson, the catcher in the lineup today. If you missed yesterday's game, Ramon Hernandez, their regular catcher, got hit on the thumb late in the game. And I don't even know if he would be available today if they needed him. They're fortunate they have Hatteberg at first base, who was a catcher for quite a while, so they have an emergency catcher should they need one.
Here's Giambi, had a big home run in the 9th inning yesterday to tie the game at 3. Then the Yankees lost the game in the 10th inning, a 2-run home run by Chavez of Juan Acevedo. Fouled away left side. Here's Jason yesterday finally breaking out of a long slump.
3-1 pitch from closer Keith Fulk off the facing of the upper deck, and that tied the ball game.
Outside. One pitch. A little bit low. 1-0. Oakland leads the Yankees. Scott Hatteberg with a home run off Clemens in the top of the first, the 2-1. Low 3-1. Is it tough to pitch to a guy who was your friend?
Can be. Told you about my story with Nettles, with Greg Nettles when I first faced him. And sometimes with left-handers too, you have a tendency as a left-hand pitcher to look at the hitter, not the glove.
Foul tip.
You know, the right-hand hitter is always in the background there somewhere when you're a lefty, but when you come in with your motion, the first thing you see is the left-hand hitter. That's why some lefties have trouble getting the ball over to left-hand hitters.
Works the other way too, but I didn't talk to many pitchers.
3-2. Grounded to the shortstop. Miguel Tejada, station where a second baseman would be, and that'll do it here in the first inning. A 1-2-3 first for Barry Zito and the A's. We played one here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. The A's won and the Yankees nothing.
Fans, you want to tune in for an afternoon of great premieres on Yes. First, after the post game, Yes proudly presents the third installment of the history of the Yankees, 1956 to 1979, chronicling some of the most memorable years of Yankee baseball. Then join my colleague Michael Kay as he sits down for an hour of conversation with Yankees great Bobby Mercer on center stage.
That was a fun interview, so everyone should tune in for that. And the history of the Yankee series has been very well received over the first two. Terrence Long leads off, took a first pitch strike. Foul back.
Now there's 6 episodes of that,
yes,
if I'm not mistaken.
Definitely an appointment for the VCR. And the 0-2. Missed outside. Sun finally peeking through the haze overhead, and it's turning into a fairly nice day. Yesterday a little bit chilly here at the stadium, from what I hear.
It warms up when you show up, Michael.
The 1-2. Grounded up the middle. Soriano backhands. High throw, but Giambi comes right back down on the bag, one away.
Well, we showed you a little package on the Yankees' defensive efforts yesterday afternoon, and one of the plays featured Alfonso Soriano. Here he is going to his right, and this is about the toughest play for a second baseman. Away from first base, falling away. Remember, he was a shortstop when he was in the minor leagues. He has a shortstop's arm, and that helps him here on this play.
Nice footwork by Giambi on the receiving end.
Pitch to Burns. There's a strike.
Burns had an 8-game hitting streak broken yesterday.
Grounded to short. Almonte just got Burns, took a little bit too much time, and Burns was hustling down the line, almost beat it out.
I'll say.
Kenny, you mentioned that Burns is high energy, and when you're high energy, that means that usually you get around pretty quickly. Here's Almonte straightening up. Just enough arm to get it there ahead of Eric Burns. Man, I'd like to see that. Oh, yeah, he knew it was close, too.
I'll tell you, he keeps running like that, he'll beat a few of those out.
And the ones he doesn't beat out will make infielders rush and throw it away. Pitch to Singleton is upstairs. That's good to see. And you know what? We shouldn't have to celebrate that. Everybody should do that.
It's one of a lot of managers I played for. It's the only real rule they had. Run hard till you're out.
Well, that's a rule that's broken all the time now.
Roger, until this hitter, was working at a little faster pace this inning. And I know he mentioned in the Seattle game, his last start Tuesday, since the Yankees were coming off a day off. He said, I really wanted to get out there and set the tempo. And if you remember that game, Michael, he really, you know, even though he got touched up, he was working quick. Not much time between pitches. His stuff was sharp.
Tap towards second. Soriano. 3 ground balls, 3 outs, 1-2-3 inning for Clemens and the Yankees. We go to the bottom of the second inning. The Athletics 1, the New York Yankees 0. Yes, go inside the pinstripes with a look at the life and career of Yankees great Bernie Williams on the Emmy Award-winning series Yankeeography. From his childhood in Puerto Rico to his success as a Bronx Bomber, find out the whole story on Yankeeography Bernie Williams tonight at 9, right here on Yes. Take a look at Bernie's resume. 5-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove winner. He won the batting title in '98, and he was the ALCS MVP in 1996. And if you're a Yankee fan, you know he also owns 4 World Series rings. So here's Bernie leading off against Barry Zito, the switch hitter batting from the right side. Line drive right at Chavez, 1 away. One pitch, 1 out.
Bernie's been swinging the bat well all season long from the right side. And when you get up there and you turn on the first fastball, that should send a message to the pitcher that you're kind of locked in as a hitter. Sometimes it takes a few pitches, you foul a few fastballs back, and you're not quite ready before you really hit one hard.
Here's Matsui, and the pitch is high. With that line out, Bernie is now 1 for 18 on this homestand.
Yeah, and right after he hit that line drive, Zito was looking in at catcher Mark Johnson.
Hit sharply to second base. Ellis right there. 2 away.
Because he knew that pitch was not where he wanted it. Neither was that one. Both the balls this inning have been hit sharply, but right at people. But when you look at him, you can understand why he is becoming a great pitcher. He's such a good young pitcher right now. Nothing bothers him. You'll seldom see him wander around. He is just focused in on the catcher. Even when a hitter fouls a ball off, you'll see him just look right in at the catcher, wait for another one.
Here's Mondesi. And the pitch is high. Has an interesting lineage. His father, Joe, was a composer for Nat King Cole and worked with Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. Manager of several musical careers. His uncle is Patrick Duffy. Everybody knows him as the character of Bobby Ewing in the series Dallas. So he's got some fame in his family. And they say he handles his fame very well that he has. Popped up, left side. Chavez, and he'll put it away for the final out of the inning. He did it in 6 pitches, a 1-2-3 inning. He's retired all 6 Yankees. We go to the 3rd. We're back here at Yankee Stadium, top of the 3rd inning. Roger Clemens settled down in the 2nd, and Barry Zito has been, as advertised, over the first 2 innings, retired all 6 Yankees in a row. So Mark Johnson's going to lead off against Clemens here to start the 3rd. And the pitch. Upstairs, 1-0.
Mark Johnson primarily has been the catcher that has seen the most action when Ted Lilly's been on the mound. But they broke up that matchup the other night, the opening game of this series. Ramon Hernandez got the start.
Now, we mentioned that Clemens seems to be working a little slower than we've seen him work in the past. Could that be that he has not worked with Flaherty that much and that he's used to?
No, I think it's every start is different. We saw Roger come out highly energized.
Gets Johnson to pop one up. Flaherty moving back toward the screen, and it lands just on the screen, out of play.
And today just looks a little sluggish, just like he's a bit in slow motion, but that may change. And most of his misses have been high and away to left-hand hitters, which means his arm angle might be just a little bit lower than he'd like it. And that's something that Mel keeps an eye on. Oftentimes you don't like to tinker too much with a pitcher during the game, especially a great pitcher like Clemens. Becomes his own coach.
Nothing Oakland, top of the third inning at the stadium. The 1-2 was driven out toward left field. Matsui took his head in, then goes back, one away.
That's a great point about a veteran pitching knowing his own style and what works and how to get back in the groove, because that also applies to hitters too. When you become a veteran hitter, you know yourself at the plate, and you know why you get hits, and you know why you do not get them. And one at bat is sort of like a learning experience for the next. A nice play by Matsui in left field after a false step.
False step, Kenny mentioned, is when that ball was hit, he took a step in, and then it was hit just a little bit harder than he anticipated. Well, that's I used to get in little friendly debates like we do with Michael with hitters.
Are those friendly?
Sure. But you never see a hitting coach go up and call a hitter out of the box and talk to him during a game.
Slow roller and foul.
But you always see pitching coach and sometimes even infielders come around the mound, start. I played with the greatest all-around third baseman ever, Mike Schmidt. Thad Bosley, the hitting coach, and Rick Down, the hitting coach for the Yankees. But Mike Schmidt would come out to the mound, start talking about how to pitch so-and-so. I said, Schmitty, you're the greatest third baseman I've ever played with. Just get back there and play it.
0-2 is low.
Like Kenny says, veterans, you become, he'll find his groove here. I think right now he's one of those games where he's saying he's grinding it out.
And he says he takes more pleasure in those games than when he just mows people down, when he really has to work and he keeps his team in the game. So because you really feel like you earned it, you really feel as if you worked hard to do it. When he wins a game, when he's pitching like this, you should see him in front of the locker after the game. He's got this pride about him that, he was able to work through not having good stuff and really laboring. The 2-2.
That nice break on that slider to Ellis. Ellis, like Hatterberg yesterday, they both broke out of lengthy offers. Ellis had been 0 for 13. And he actually got a hit and scored a run in the 7th inning yesterday.
2-2. Grounded to short slowly. Charging is Almonte. He boots it. That'll be another error for Almonte. And that is scored in E6.
Yeah, it's just a rookie error of enthusiasm. See, he never lets the ball get to him. He's got the glove way off to the side. And that was a ball. If anything, you'd want him to catch it on the throwing arm side, as you see Derek Jeter. But in his haste to get to the ball, he never really let the ball get to. He overcharged it almost and lifted his head up.
Yeah, if you notice, his head was looking up towards first before he caught the ball.
Yankees have 19 errors, and Almonte has 8 of them. Pitch to Hatterberg's a strike.
When you see Derek Jeter make some of those plays, they look quite ordinary. But then when you see another shortstop, and Almonte's, on the job training, just a rookie, but then you appreciate how good Jeter is at making that play.
Jeter is coming along. The Yankees hope to have him back in 2 or 3 weeks, hitting off a tee down in Tampa. And it's a little bit quicker than what they originally had feared. But when he was here earlier in the week, he said, not quicker than I want it to be.
Took some live batting practice today, a couple sessions.
I think it was a total of 50 swings. You know, Yankee fans are used to seeing Derek Jeter on an everyday basis in the lineup, and they're going to take their time with him. So when he comes back, there's none of this thing where, oh, my shoulder feels sore and I have to leave the line. They want him to, when he plays, when he comes back, he's going to be ready.
With their record, they really don't have to rush him back. The 0-2 popped up left side. Almonte back onto the outfield grass. He makes a nice play over the shoulder for the second out of the inning. At this point, what the Yankees are trying to do, they want Almonte to fill in nicely for Jeter, but the better Almonte does, the more he becomes trade bait for something they might need later in the season. Because Jeter's signed for another 8 years, Almonte's never going to be their shortstop unless they translate him into a third baseman. He has that sort of body. But if he does well enough here, then all of a sudden he becomes a commodity the Yankees might not have had before he had this opportunity. Pitch to Chavez is low.
And usually that means you turn him into maybe a left-handed relief pitcher that you might need down the road. There's Yankee General Manager Brian Cashman. I'm surprised to see him without a telephone on his ear.
1-0 upstairs.
You notice that with a lot of general managers nowadays, they don't get very far away from their cell phones.
One 1-0 Oakland leads the Yankees. The one, a home run by Scott Hatteberg in the first inning. Mark Ellis leads off first, held there by Giambi. The 2-0. Big healthy cut by Chavez. 2-1.
The Chavez's ace swing. He's a good low ball hitter, and that was in his zone. Just enough mustard on it from the rocket to get it by him. 2 miles per hour slower, that might have been in the seats.
2-1 is outside. Ellis actually bluffed at first, then stopped. Don't know if it was a bluff or he didn't get a good enough jump to go. On the count, 3-1. See, the runner goes on 3-1. He does not. The pitch is outside, so Chavez walks. Clemens not pitching around him, but certainly careful because he knows he has the right-handed Tejada on deck.
Yeah, but still not good body language. The second inning looked much improved, but unless I'm reading more into it, but Roger, he does not look as comfortable as most of the starts we've seen him in. The high percentage of balls out of the strike zone through these first 2 2/3 innings.
Here's Tejada off to a miserable start. He flied to left in the first inning, 168 overall, and with runners in scoring position hitting just 129. And he's the defending MVP, and the pitch is inside. In fact, last year in these situations, runners in scoring position, he hit 375. Tejada playing with a little bit of a weight on his shoulders. The owner of the A's said he's not coming back here. We can't afford him. There's no way we could sign a guy that we love to this sort of contract. We just can't do it financially. And he said this during spring training. So Tejada proceeding along with the unknown because he doesn't know where he's going to play next year. He's going to make money wherever he goes, but he's certainly not playing in the system in which he grew up. He's worked the count 2-0. Good hitter's pitch. And the pitch. Foul back.
That was a break for the Yankees. That ball out of the strike zone, but it came right in on Tejada. In the self-defense, he put the bat out. Almost 50% of Rogers' pitches have been out of the strike zone. You see Flaherty's target, and that is way upstairs out of the strike zone.
Runners on first and second with 2 outs, a 1-0 Oakland lead. And the 2-1. Grounded foul. For the A's, it gets to be a little depressing, especially for the younger players. Giambi, MVP 1 year, the runner-up the next. He's gone as a free agent. Miguel Tejada, the MVP, he's going to be gone as a free agent. Eric Chavez probably feels the same thing. The only thing the A's really get concerned about is keeping their big three pitchers, and they feel that they could fill in around them. But they're losing some very good young players because of the economics of the game.
You have to score runs in this game to win.
2-2. And the count is full of 3-2. That'll release the base runners.
I can see their point about the pitchers. I mean, these are three pitchers that we mentioned the other night that Mulder, Hudson, and Zito have either been 1 or 2 in the Cy Young voting the last 3 years. So that's something to build around. But if you continue to lose players who drive in runs, that puts even more pressure on your pitchers to get the job done.
Ellis will go from second, Chavez from first. Tejada at the plate with a 3-2 count. Now Flaherty goes out and talks with Clemens.
That's the second time he's called him out. What Roger, I think, senses is that this could be the 9th inning of the ball game. In other words, he has Tejada up with 2 men on, and a mistake here with a guy like Zito pitching, that could be your entire ball game. So he's going to treat this pitch, this at bat, like he's closing out the game.
The 3-2 line drive to center field. That is a base hit. Ellis will score. Going to third is Chavez. Miguel Tejada with an RBI single, and Oakland leads 2-0.
A struggling day so far for the Rocket. And we'll take a look at that pitch. Misses. 1 splitter high, 1 low. This is just self-defense. Actually, it would be 3-0. Breaking pitch fouled off. Not close. And then this last one right above the belt, middle of the zone. And Tejada centered it right back to center.
Oh, that run scored, and you go back to the error by Eric Almonte. Kind of kept the inning going, and the A's capitalized.
Only the 5th unearned run the Yankees have given up all year. That's the lowest total in the league.
Here's Durazo, a tough left-handed hitter against Clemens. He struck out in the 1st inning on a pitch away. Fouls one off.
Durazo been a productive player during the time he's been in there with Arizona. He comes over to the A's. I mentioned that 4 years in the league, he's been on the DL 5 times. This year, he has started every single game, and he's been very productive. Leads the team in runs batted in.
24 ribbies, 294 average. Which is outside. I would imagine that on that field right now, no one feels worse than Eric Almonte, because he knows Clemens is in this jam. There's a run on the board simply because of that error that he made. Probably wants to dig a hole at shortstop.
You just hope the team doesn't score when you make an error.
Driven out to deep left field. Going back, Matsui. He's there. And he'll put it away for the final out of the inning. But the A's score 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, 2 men left. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. It's 2-0 Oakland. Welcome back to Yankees baseball here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Oakland leads the Yankees 2-0, and we have a very, very special guest in our booth, the Prime Minister of Australia, John Howard. Mr. Howard, thank you for joining us.
It's great to be here, and what a terrific atmosphere.
Now, we heard that you had the best recommendation to come here from the President of the United States.
Yes, I was down with him on the ranch, and he was very pleased to hear that I was coming, and he's quite a fan, and of course a real expert with his pre-political life with the Rangers. So yeah, he's a pretty good source of information about baseball.
I bet you he is. We're in the bottom of the 3rd inning right here. Yankees are trailing 2-0. Bubba Trammell leads off against Barry Zito. And the 0-1 is a little bit inside. We heard that you met Joe Torre before the game?
Yes, I did. And he's planning to come to Australia with his wife beginning of next year. And I offered to take him to a cricket match. And he can be my guest, and we can exchange thoughts about the 2 games.
Now, we heard that you love cricket.
I do, yes.
How close is it to this game?
There are few subtle differences, to say the least. But look, you know, the atmosphere of a great sporting arena, there are certain similarities all around the world. The Yankee Stadium, of course, is one of the great sporting arenas in the world, and you know, it's a great experience to be here.
Trammell lines one to center. That is a base hit. So Trammell with a leadoff single. That is the first base runner against Zito today.
The pitchers today, the 2 Cy Young Award winners, Zito and Clemens, in cricket, they'd be bowlers, wouldn't they? They'd play the googly. They'd throw the googly with a spin on.
No, they'd be very fast bowlers.
Now, would a great cricket player, you think it would translate into being a pretty good hitter in baseball?
Could be. There's a famous photograph around of Don Bradman, who was
We have it.
Yeah, of Don Bradman and Babe Ruth, say in 1934, was just after a visit to a cricket tour of England, and Don came through here, and they did some great comparisons of the statistical performances of the two of them, and demonstrated how they were so far ahead of their rivals in the respective games as it didn't even matter. I mean, daylight came second.
From what I understand, the Australians have the best cricket players in the world right now.
Yes, we're the holders of the World Cricket Cup, and we're just playing the West Indies at the present time. And we have a very strong team at the moment.
Ground ball there by Flaherty has turned into a 1-6-3 double play, so 2 away here in the 3rd inning.
We should say that when the Olympics were in Australia, as we look at the 1-6-3 double play, right back to Zito, and he leads Tejada into the bag perfectly. The rest is pretty easy. They get Flaherty by plenty, but everybody just raved about their experience during the Olympics.
It was a huge success. That everything fell into place. We had good facilities, we had huge attendances, and
good people.
Thank you. And we had lots of volunteers, and the spirit of the thing was just amazing.
Almonte hits one deep to left field. That's going to be over the head of Burns. He'll have to play it off the wall. Almonte goes for 2. Here's the throw. He's in there with a double. So Almonte, who committed an error in the top of the inning, trying to get back, and has a 2-out double here in the 3rd.
Picks on a high fastball, and that's good feeling for a hitter to make up for an error. And I'd be interested in the Prime Minister's reaction seeing cricket. We remarked today how much bigger and stronger these American baseball players are getting.
Well, that's yeah, they are very big. I mean, Clemens is a big bloke. He's really big. They are very. Yeah, so the sizes of cricketers would vary. There'd be some big blokes, but quite a number not, because the skills are a little different.
Big blokes like this guy.
Well, maybe the size of Australian rules football players.
Well, then your Australian rules football players are very, you know, you do real well there. Yeah.
I don't know. It looks like a rough game, to be honest with you.
You'd make a very good rugby player, too.
I just want to learn how to officiate so you can make all those signs.
Here's Soriano with a runner on 2nd and 2 outs. Almonte with a big lead. And that one's hit deep to left field. If it's fair, it's gone. And that is a foul ball into the upper deck. Now, we here in America, we're getting to see a lot of Australians starting to play baseball. And there have been some very good Australian baseball players.
Graham Lloyd. Yeah. I met him here. Yeah, I came here in '97. And
he's a neighbor of mine down in South Florida.
Yes.
He was the first. I actually saw him play at the University of Alabama, Craig Shipley, but that's quite a roster.
Damian Moss, a fine young pitcher for the Giants now.
Yeah, and Graham's gone to the Mets, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. We're not supposed to say that here.
Sorry. Oh, yeah. Wash my mouth out. Yes.
We're talking with John Howard, the Prime Minister of Australia. We're so happy to have him here in the booth at Yankee Stadium. Yankees are trailing 2-0, but threatening here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Soriano is at the plate, and a timeout is called. Now, we also did some research. You like the St. George Rugby League
team. Yeah, they had. I don't think there's a football team in the world in a sort of a major competition that equaled their record. They won 11 premierships in a row between 56 and 67, and quite a remarkable. They're not doing quite so well now, but they had some glory days, and it's quite an extraordinarily successful period.
So they would be the Yankees of rugby.
Well, this is rugby league. Now we're getting into a bit of detail. There are 2 brands of rugby. There's league and union, but they've certainly, for a long time, held sway in rugby league in the Sydney competition.
Well,
And 11 in a row is quite
Oh, it's
extraordinary.
unbelievable. Soriano strikes out. That ends the inning. Mr. Prime Minister, we thank you for coming
Thank
by.
you.
Thank
Good
you
luck.
so much.
Be
Enjoy
great.
the rest of your day here.
Thank you. Great pleasure.
We
Cheerio.
played 3 innings at the stadium. Oakland 2 and the Yankees nothing. We go to the top of the 4th inning. Oakland 2, the Yankees nothing. Time for the Aflac trivia question. Since 1968, who are the only other pair of homegrown teammates other than Zito and Tejada to win the Cy Young and MVP awards in the same season? Interesting question. Think it over. We'll have the answer in the bottom of the inning. And the pitch to T. Long is a strike, 0-1. Prime Minister seemed like a good guy.
I don't know if I've met any Aussies that aren't good people.
Really?
Love life, laid back.
More laid back in California?
I was almost about to ask the Prime Minister, is there any way you could move the country closer? Because
Yeah,
that's some
yeah.
ride to get there. But everybody that's been there says they love it. Beautiful country. And the 0-2. Strike 3 outside corner, Long down looking.
Flaherty sets up just a touch outside the corner, but you see when he reaches and does a nice job of catching it and then lifting it a little bit. Watch Flaherty's glove, and he'll hold it up in front so Larry Poncino gets a good look at it.
Too bad Ernie Harwell wasn't here. He could say long gone.
Here's Eric Burns. And the pitch is strike now. Clemens against a Cy Young defender is not a first for him today. This is the 21st time that Clemens has pitched against a defending Cy Young Award winner. And in the previous 20, he was 8-4 with 8 no decisions. But in his 7 starts against defending Cy Young Award winners here with the Yankees, he's 0-3 in his 7 such starts. But he's used to these matchups. And again, 8-4, that's pretty good. So, you know, he gets pumped up.
And for a long time, and one of the reasons Roger does not have as impressive a record, there's the graphic on what Michael was talking about, against Oakland as some other teams, is he ran into them in the late 80s when they had Dave Stewart and those good championship ball clubs.
Popped up right side, Giambi. Clemens is just 1 game over 500 against the A's, 15-14, which isn't that bad considering, as Jim said, those early 90 teams were really outstanding teams with great lineups.
Bob Welch won, what, 27 games 1 year for the Yankees?
Those are the Canseco McGuire days in Oakland. Ricky Henderson.
Bash Brothers.
Yeah, Terry Steinbach.
Corning Lansford.
You know, I don't know if there's a noticeable difference. This is the home run right here. You can see all of the backside of the hitter right there, which means the arm angle's a little low. Now here, the arm is almost into the back of his. That's the strikeout to Long.
Check the swing. Did he check it though? No, said first base umpire Phil Cuzzy. So Burns down swinging. 2 away, 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, he clearly went around, and again, Flaherty holds it in a good position. Like a pretty good. I was just a little inside if he hadn't swung. But as Kenny said, Roger, precise heat. He has to have good command, and that little bit of difference with the arm angle can make a big difference.
Here's Chris Singleton, and the pitch is inside.
Singleton's off to a good start, 5-game hitting streak. He's been playing primarily against right-handers. He's averaging .316.
They needed a center fielder because they didn't think Terrence Long had done a good defensive job in center, and Chris Singleton happens to be a very good defender, so he is out there, and that's their ideal outfield alignment with Dye and right, obviously. Pitch is upstairs, and the count 3-0. A couple of years in a row in the playoffs, Terrence Long did not do a good job against the Yankees and cost the A's a couple of runs. 3-0, right down the middle, 3-1.
He's like an erratic wide receiver. He does not run good routes, and that's what hurt him in center field. He's got the speed, but Chris Singleton a much better center fielder.
Hit sharply right at Giambi, goes down to the right knee, and takes it himself for the final out of the inning. So 4 in a row for Clemens, 3 in this inning, 1, 2, 3. And we head to the bottom of the 4th inning at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Oakland 2, the Yankees nothing. You're watching the Yankees on Yes. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning, Oakland 2 and the Yankees nothing. Todd Zeile leads off against Barry Zito. 2-0 A's. And the pitch is inside, 1-0. Barry Zito was almost born to be a pitcher. And when his dad retired at 57, he devoted his entire life to making Barry Zito a pitcher. And he saw an ad in the San Diego Union. Randy Jones of the San Diego Padres actually took out an ad. I'll teach kids to pitch an hour session for $50. And he took Barry Zito to Randy Jones, and that Cy Young Award winner produced a Cy Young Award winner. Pretty neat.
Yeah, even though they're entirely different pitchers, those of you that don't remember Randy Jones.
Popped up. And
Randy was more of, say, a combination of Tommy John and Jimmy Key. And boy, did he get a lot out of his. You know, he had that little sinker going down and away, and had a baseball school out there, and it's pretty good $50 that they invested.
Not bad.
He can actually have taught him the value of a good changeup, though.
Ground ball softly toward third. Tough play for Chavez. Fields fires high over the head of Hatterberg. And Zeile will reach. That should be an E5, because if he makes a good throw, he probably has him. But we'll see how the official scorer, Howie Carpet, scores that one.
2-time Gold Glove winner. And now that's his 2nd error of the series. Decided that he didn't have time to kind of plant his foot. What hurt him there is he fielded the ball on the glove side instead of fielding it over on his throwing arm side. Able to get it into a little better position.
And that is scored in E5. And that'll bring up Giambi as a tying run. Yankees trail 2-0. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Zito against Clemens, the 2002 Cy Young winner against the 2001 Cy Young winner. And the breaking ball is high. Zito said his greatest fear working with Randy Jones is he always wore these brand new, Zito did, always wore these brand new white spikes. And if he did something wrong, Randy Jones would stick tobacco juice on his shoes. He said, then I knew I better throw strikes. There's a strike.
Well, there's that curveball, too. Kind of dots and then drops into the strike zone.
And they went with all fastballs the last time. Here's a curve Kenny's talking about.
Man.
But I tell you, that's a pitch that can be a very dangerous pitch, lefty to lefty. They shift on Giambi even with a man on, and with the Yankees down 2, nobody out. You know, it wouldn't be a bad idea just to try to poke one that way. You got Bernie Williams, your cleanup hitter, coming up next.
Inside, the count 3-1. Well, they called it a strike. A little too slow there by Poncino. I looked away. I apologize. And the count now 2-2.
Target is away, but the pitch is actually in. And Johnson has to reach clear across the plate, but he gets the call.
Foul back. Now, do you think, Kenny, that with the whole left side open, the fact that he has not been hitting that great, that he's just being obstinate, or he cannot do it? He's just not able to serve the ball that way.
That's not his approach to hitting, and especially he wouldn't do it with 2 strikes. He'd have to do it early in the count, just to cross everybody up.
2-2. Goes left side, but in the air, foul. I just looked at Michael Shankman took a look. Randy Johnson might have the worst lifetime record of any Cy Young Award winner. He was
Randy Jones, 100
and 123. A good ERA of 3.42, but 23 games under 500. 2-2, high.
Pitch for some pretty poor ball clubs out there. And I think that's probably the same case with Kenny's ex-teammate Steve Stone, who had a great year with a good ball club and pitched for a lot of poor teams. There's the biggest pitch in the game right here for Zito.
Bernie Williams on deck. Zeile's at first. He's probably not going to be going. Doesn't have great speed. And the 3-2. Breaking ball away. It gets past Johnson, a walk to Giambi. Identified the breaking ball and took it. So Zeal moves to second. Giambi's on first, and it gives us time to tell you the Aflac trivia answer. The question was, since '68, who are the only pair of homegrown teammates other than Zito and Tejada to win the Cy Young and MVP awards in the same season? Let's take a look at the answer. Jack McDowell and Frank Thomas, who did it in '93 with the White Sox. Frank Thomas still with the White Sox. Jack McDowell's in the Rock band. Here's Bernie Williams. And the breaking ball is a strike.
Well, back in 1986, Roger Clemens was both the MVP and the Cy Young Award winner.
Has a little wrinkle in the answer.
Yeah.
Zeal's at second. Giambi is at first. Yankees trail 2-0, bottom of the fourth. Bernie hit a scorcher right at Chavez in the second. That one right back to Zito. He dropped it again, but he still makes the out at first. He lost the double play, but he still got Bernie at first as the runners move up.
Could be a very costly non-error. Right there, he's got it. Backhand side, he tries to turn before he had control of the ball. And now, as Mark Ellis in the background is telling him, there's only one play, and that's to first base. So that is a huge mistake by Zito, even though it wasn't an error. Could have been a double play, man on third, 2 out. Now he has Matsui to face with the tying runs in scoring position, and this has been where Matsui is a much better hitter in these situations.
Matsui grounded out to second. That was in the second. Has 23 ribbies. And the pitch. Flinches a little bit away from the breaking ball, and the count 1-0. Runners in scoring position, Matsui hits 300. With runners at third base and less than 2 outs, he gets them in 8 out of 11 times. Ground ball right back to Zito, and he's going to throw home. They have Giambi hung up at second, and Giambi is tagged out by Tejada. And it's a fielder's choice. 1, 2, 6. Matsui reaches, and Zeal stays put at third.
This is one of the weirdest plays you'll ever see. Zito threw home as if there were a force at home plate. There was no force. And Todd Zeal was not coming.
Well, Todd was halfway down the line, and I think that's maybe what Zito caught out of the corner of his eye. But the play is made by Mark Johnson. To me, that's the play. Mark Johnson alertly to Tejada and catches Giambi off base. So quite an inning for Barry Zito.
Should be patting his catcher on the back.
Yeah, that was a really heads-up play. Yeah, he wheeled around so quickly to throw to Johnson because I think he caught Zeal just out of the corner of his eye.
Well, the way he has fielded this inning, he is no threat to Jim Cott's record of 16 Gold Gloves as a pitcher.
Who is?
Not too many.
If you pitch like that, you don't always have to be that good a fielder.
Another look at it. There's the ground ball for Matsui, and then the spin. And by this time, Zeal's going to be safe at third. The play goes to second, where Giambi, thinking that Zeal was going, started for third base.
Runners on first and third. Now 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth. Mondesi at the plate. Mondesi popped the third. That was in the second. And the pitch. Breaking ball is low, 1-0.
Mondesi, we talked about his resurgence as a hitter this year. Hasn't chased many bad pitches. The one thing that Rick Natt and Reggie Jackson had him do was lower his hands at the start when he sets up the hit. You have to have your hands above the baseball to hit the ball. So instead of having his hands way up high, dropping his hands down, then bringing them back up again, which takes a little bit more time, he starts with his hands low, then brings them up above the ball and swings the bat.
So he starts them lower, so then when he brings them up, they're still under the ball.
And they're still above the ball.
Right.
And then drops the bat onto the ball.
Count 3-0. Let's play manager right here. Do you green light Mondesi?
Oh, yeah, and I think that trip to the mound by Rick Peterson was, Bubba Trammell on deck. Has not had the playing time this year, and Mondesi's a hot hitter, so it's almost like they're pitching around him. He gets one he likes, I would think he'd be swinging. Got a changeup. That tells you how much respect they have for Mondesi and how they're pitching around him. 3-0 with runners at the corners, and he got a changeup. And we have not seen him swing. He told you that the other day, Michael. He has not swung at many pitches down out of the zone this year.
As of Friday, just 2 in the dirt. The 3-1 popped up behind the plate. That's out of play, so it'll be a 3-2 pitch on its way, and Matsui will be free to leave from first with 2 outs.
Just saw Mondesi swing the bat. Maybe we can illustrate the fact that he brings his hands up and then tries to get above the ball. And this was a high fastball. See those hands that kind of swing up.
So he's eliminated 1 move from the home motion.
Yep, and that more bat control this way too.
Zito steps off. If you're pitching around a guy and then it somehow gets to 3-2, do you have a different mindset?
This tells me now, if Lou Pinella's sitting there, I bet Louis says he's going to throw a curve. He stepped off the mound, went to his forehead like he didn't have as good a grip on the ball.
3-2. Foul ball.
Wasn't a curve, but that can be sometimes that, he just stepped off the mound because I don't think he had a good feel of the baseball. But those are little things that hitters will look at and try to pick up some ways that pitchers might tip off their pitches.
Runner goes. Foul back. Matsui getting some leg work in.
Most exaggerated way a pitcher used to tip his pitches. Early in the career of Frank Viola, another good left-hander, when he was with the Minnesota Twins, he used to take a deep breath from the windup before every fastball. He had a good enough fastball, he'd get away with it most of the time, but sometimes he didn't.
Keeping Matsui close.
And eventually he eliminated that.
Didn't Bert Blyleven stick out his tongue on a curve?
Couldn't hit it anyway.
Yeah, he couldn't hit it.
3-2. Strike 3. Mondesi down looking. Obviously looking for something else. So the Yankees have an opportunity, a golden one at that, and they cannot capitalize. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 2 men left. We go to the 5th inning at the stadium. Oakland 2, the Yankees nothing. Thank you, Bob. Update me when the Red Sox go to their bullpen. Pitch from Clemens is a little bit low. Well, that's the whole deal with them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're off to a good start, but if they had a decent bullpen, they'd be right up there with the Yankees right now. The 1-0. Pitch is high. A lot of trouble in Red Sox gold. Manny's not talking to the press. Pedro's not talking to the press. No more Garcia Power tried to organize a boycott of the press.
Really?
Uh-huh. Not happy.
This includes electronic media?
Everybody. Fly ball to left. Matsui is there, and he retires Mark Johnson for the first out of the 4th.
Aren't they 20-10?
Yeah, but it's Boston. They have a rough media.
I would think. See what I mean about him?
Oh, I love reading the Boston papers, but they're rough. Take a look. 3 games out behind the Yankees, and you wonder, does Boston feel good that the Yankees are 23-7? They're only 3 out, or do they feel frustrated that they're 3 out and they're 20-10?
I think they're frustrated to play that well and be 3 games back.
Pitch to Ellis.
If the playoffs started today, they'd be in there as the wild card.
Right.
Rogers got a little more fire here. I don't know exactly what the radar gun readings would be, but his whole motion and everything looked. That first inning was just a little sluggish for him.
1-1 to Ellis. There's a strike. The Yankees are 23-7, so that's why the Red Sox are trailing by 3. And you might think I had a day off yesterday, but I was doing some research on teams that started 23-7.
Hey, don't try to sell us.
1-2. Hit sharply to third. Zeal. 2 away.
What restaurant was that at?
I mean, he'd open a snowmobile dealership in Miami Beach. He thinks he can sell us that stuff.
Well, there are 15 teams in the last 58 years. This is what I gleaned out of all my research. That's since 1946 to win at least 23 of their first 30 games. And all but 2 of the 15 teams actually went to the playoffs or finished the year in first place. And the exceptions were the 1972 Mets. They finished in 3rd after starting off 23-7. And the 2002 Red Sox started off 23-7, and they finished in 2nd place. So 13 out of 15 times it's happened. Pitch is high. That was a lot of work, but I felt it was worth it for that one note.
We're proud of you.
Thank you. The audience thanks you, too.
No need. It's my job. It's what I do. The 1-0. Outside. 2-0 Oakland over the Yankees. We're in the top of the 5th inning. 2-2-1 for Oakland. The 23-7 is not the Yankees' best record through 30 games. 58, 68, 39, and 28. They were 24-6. I can't believe the 68 team started off 24-6. That was a pretty bad team. And then magical 98 year, they were 23-7, just like here in 2003. They ended up winning 114 games, 125 overall with the playoffs, and the count 3-1. Atterberg connected on a solo home run to right field against Clemens in the 1st inning, his 3rd home run of the year. He has 15 ribbies. Chavez on deck. And the 3-1. Grounded to 2nd base. Soriano is right there. And a 1-2-3 inning for Clemens, and he is retired. 7 in a row. At the end of 4 1/2, we're halfway through. Oakland 2 and the Yankees nothing. For the 5th inning here at Yankee Stadium, Oakland 2 and the Yankees nothing. Bubba Trammell leads off against Barry Zito. And the pitch to Trammell is a fastball inside. So Zito is pitching a 2-hit shutout over the first 4. Clemens has only given up 2 hits as well. 1 an unearned run because of an error by Eric Almonte. The other a home run by Hatterberg. Fly ball to left field, but that will hook foul into the seats. And the count 1-1. You know, Barry Zito, on every single road trip that the A's go on, he has them pack along a full-length mirror that he could bring into his hotel room so he could see his pitching motion. A lot of players actually did that in the past, but they just wanted to see how they look. But Barry Zito's actually practicing his motion.
And working on things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Popped up. Mark Ellis on the outfield grass. 1 away.
Fans, you want to tune in today for an afternoon of great premieres on Yes. First after the postgame, Yes proudly presents the 3rd installment of the history of the Yankees. It's 1956 to 1979, chronicling some of the most memorable years of Yankee baseball. Then join my colleague Michael Kay, sits down for an hour of conversation with Yankees great Bobby Mercer on center stage. That's today after the postgame.
Bobby Ray.
Boy, those sideburns were awful. We talk about those on the show.
He could do it all.
There's a ground ball to 3rd. 2 away.
Well, that opportunity the Yankees had last inning. Anytime you're up against an outstanding pitcher and a Cy Young Award winner like Zito, Joe Torre knows you might get one pop at him, and Yankees didn't really run the pillows that well. I don't know if the contact play was on. Todd Zeile broke, and of course, as soon as Giambi saw him break, he broke. And that wiped out an opportunity.
Here's Almonte. A little bit low.
Remember in the open when we were talking about what are you looking forward to as a hitter against? You're not looking forward to facing pitchers like Clemens and Zito. But what you would want to do is get that one hit at the right time, and the Yankees missed an opportunity. That's what Kitty was talking about. If you're a hitter, you're not going to go 4 for 4. You know, that might be once in a lifetime thing against somebody like Barry Zito. But if you can get that base hit or a double that drives in 2 runs at the right time, and you might be able to win that close game.
Changeup swung and a miss.
Yeah, not to quite put Zito in Koufax's, company yet, but Joe Torre compared him to him, and here's a good look at the fastball situation, and he gets a changeup. That's what makes him an outstanding young pitcher. But in the 7th game of the '65 World Series, 2-0 I was with the Twins. We had 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. Koufax on the ropes, and then Junior Gilliam made that one great play, and that's the only chance you had, and that often happens against great pitchers.
3-1. Almonte walks. So Almonte doubled his first time up. Now he walks with 2 outs here in the 5th. That brings up Soriano as the tying run. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees. Nice crowd on hand here at Yankee Stadium, which turned into a nice Sunday afternoon. Overcast at the beginning, but the sun has poked through, and here we are in the bottom of the 5th inning. 2-0 Oakland. Runner on first base for the Yankees, 2 out. Soriano is 0 for 2. A little bit of a slide for him. He's 3 for his last 22. There's a breaking ball strike.
He's looking for his first hit in this series.
I'll tell you what, if Zito gets him out, he's going to breathe a sigh of relief. To walk the number 9 hitter and then have to face Soriano as the tying run. Not what he had in mind.
That one's hit deep to center field. Going back, Singleton still back. He's on the track, and he makes the play for the final out of the inning. So Soriano gave it a ride, but he happened to pick the deepest part of the ballpark. For the Yankees, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We've played 5 full innings at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Oakland 2, the Yankees nothing. Come out to Yankee Stadium on Tuesday, May 13th, as the Yankees host the Anaheim Angels. The first 18,000 fans, 21 and over, are going to receive a 100th anniversary historic commemorative poster, and that's from Budweiser. For tickets, visit the stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, call Ticketmaster 212-307-1212, or log on to Yankees.com. We go to the 6th, and the pitch to Chavez is lined into right field, a base hit, third base hit by the Oakland A's. Mondesi flips the ball into Soriano, so a leadoff single here in the 6th inning.
Looked like a good low splitter, and it just caught too much of the plate. Didn't quite get it out here enough. And Chavez, as we mentioned during this series, he's a good low ball hitter. Right down in his wheelhouse.
Well, one thing Roger's trying to do at this stage of his career, he throws like a get-ahead splitter, which that was. And Chavez hit it. Then if he can get ahead of a hitter, the one he'd throw on 2 strikes will be much harder than that.
See how his pitches by inning breakdown. An extensive 1st and 3rd. There's a strike to Tejada. Chasing back Chavez.
Early in the game, Chavez picked up his 3rd stolen base.
And the 0-1. Grounded left side, off the glove of a diving Zeal into left field. That's going to allow Chavez to go to 3rd. No, now he backpedals and goes to 2nd. Matsui was quick to get there, so was Almonte. So that's going to be scored a base hit. Successive singles to open up the 6th inning. Runners on 1st and 2nd, nobody out.
I think Chavez could actually have made it to 3rd base, no doubt in my mind, but for some reason he put the brakes on after getting about a 1/3 of the way down to 3rd base. And here's the starts for 2nd, thinking he's going to have to break up a double play. The ball is off Zeal's glove, and I believe 3rd base coach Ron Washington was waving him on.
I would think so. It looked like he could have walked in there.
And also the play for the Yankees would not have been to go to 3rd. They would have flipped the ball into 2nd to keep the double play in order.
Maybe with no outs, didn't want to take a chance. But when you're up against pitchers like this, you have to take advantage of every opportunity.
Here's Durazo, who's 0 for 2 against Clemens. Splitter swung and a miss. Roger sporting 297 victories and a 4-1 record this year. Another splitty, and the count 0-2. Clemens creeping up on the all-time list. He's at 297. Tied for, no, he's at 21st alone. And next, Lefty Grove and Early Win. They have 300.
See if he goes to Mr. Splitty here, if it isn't a little harder when and down in the dirt.
The 0-2. Now, Jim, I read a lot that Early Win really hung on to get that 300th win. Did people in the game at that time feel sorry for him? Did they look down upon that?
No,
really.
No, I think they understood. He was, you know, he was just limping to the. I hooked up with him a couple of times. He actually went 5 innings in his 300th win, and Jerry Walker saved the game for him. Ex-Oriole pitcher.
Swung on a miss. He struck him out. Big strikeout for Clemens, first out of the inning.
And that was his only win victory that year. His 300th victory was the only one he got in that season.
Boy, this is a good pitching pattern right here. There is Mr. Splitty. He did not give Durazo anything that he could pull. He got ahead and he just kept chasing him out of the strike zone. I don't think Roger has his normal quota of strikeouts today. Just 4, but that one came at a big time.
He'll face Terrence Long now. Long's 0 for 2 against Clemens, grounded to second and struck out looking. First and second with 1 out. Chavez at second. Tejada is at first. New pitch. Fastball high.
Should quickly say hello to Zim. Don Zimmer, the Yankee bench coach. Zim is hospitalized with a little stomach disorder the last couple of days. I believe he is released today. He'll be watching at home. Still doubtful whether he'll go on this upcoming road trip or not. So Joe has had an empty seat next to him this series.
That is lofted to right center field. Coming on is Mondesi. He makes the play on the run for the second out of the inning.
That was off the end of the bat by Terrence Long, and didn't have the good sound. That's why he wasn't able to drive the ball. It kind of hung up there after he hit it. See that splitter going away, and you can see, man, right on the ball is going in this direction, and the bat is coming in this direction. So that's why it's off the end.
Here's Eric Burns. He's 0 for 2. Grounded foul. Chavez lead it off with a single right. Led off the inning with a single right, and then Tejada single off the glove of Todd Zeile. First and second, nobody out, but Durazo struck out. Terrence Long fly to right, and here's Eric Burns standing between Clemens and getting out of the inning. Stays away in the count 1-1. One pitch. Hit deep to left field, but Matsui is there. In left center, he puts it away for the final out of the inning. So Clemens wiggles out of trouble. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 2-0 Oakland. Todd Zeile leads off in the bottom of the 6th inning as the Yankees are trying to break through against Barry Zito, the reigning Cy Young Award winner. Oakland 2 and the Yankees nothing. Yankees have 2 hits against Barry Zito. One by Trammell, one by Almonte. And both came in the 3rd inning. There's a strike to Zeile.
The impressive thing about Zito, he's not just a young left-hander with a good arm. I mean, he pitches. He'll take a little off, and then on that one to Todd Zeile, he put a little extra, slipped it by him.
Just Still 0-2. Zito has a record of 51-19 in 90 career starts. And over the past 50 years, only 2 pitchers have won more games than Zito through their first 90 Major League starts. Both of them pitched in New York. One, Ron Guidry. Guidry was 57-19. And the other one was Dwight Gooden. He was 53-17. 1-2. High.
Kenny, it's like he throws his best fastball inside to the right-handed hitters. That's the little extra you're talking about. Change-ups away. The curveball is just, you know, dropping off a mountain.
From 0-2, he's gone to 3-2.
If you're leading off the inning, as Zeal is, with Giambi on deck, representing a tying run, 3-2, this has to be a fastball in your mind.
And the 3-2 pitch. Driven out toward right field. Giving chase is Long in the corner. He makes the play for the first out of the inning. The New Jersey Nets are into round 2, and yes is your pregame source. Join Ian Eagle and Kelly Tripucka for special playoff pregame coverage featuring insider previews of the Nets Celtics series. New Jersey Nets playoff preview show Monday and Wednesday night starting at 6:30 right here on Yes. The Nets beat the Celtics 3-1 in the season series, and they pretty much have better statistics up and down. They also beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. It was a great series. The pitch to Giambi is a strike. Giambi 0 for 1 with a walk against his former teammate. The 1-0. Pitch is high. Just missed outside the count. Now 2-1. Strike on the inside corner, and the count levels at 2-2.
Moving that fastball around.
You know, it's regardless what the previous pitch was, whether it was a ball, they just have this plan, the Oakland pitchers, that they're going at hitters with, and each one just keeps trying to hit the glove.
Breaking ball just missed, and the count 3-2.
It's like a roller coaster curveball. It goes way up and then starts back down.
Breaking ball, strike 3, inside corner. Giambi down gazing.
How about that? A 3-2. I mean, that's not fair. Like Kenny said, to Todd Zeal with a 3-2 count. Here's Giambi up next. You're looking fastball. And here's Jason, 3-2 count. And the Yankees are down 2. And Zito throws him a perfect changeup. The ability to throw all of his pitches for strikes in any count.
Here's Bernie Williams. And the fastball inside 1-0. There's a strike. Bernie Williams today 0 for 2, and on this homestand he's 1 for 19. His average, which was at 371 at the start of the homestand, is now at 319. And if I recall, the only hit he had was an infield single that he hustled and beat out a slow roll over third. Today he's lined out to Chavez and then grounded back to the mound. And the 2-1. Ground ball is short. Tejada across the diamond. And a 1-2-3 inning for Barry Zito and the Oakland A's. We played 6 innings at Yankee Stadium. Oakland 2, the Yankees nothing. You're watching the Yankees on the Yankee Entertainment and Sports Network. Chris Singleton leads off here in the 7th. A's lead 2-0. And the pitch is a strike. You know, I guess it's typical, but it is impressive because Clemens didn't come out with his best stuff, and here it is. The Yankees are in the game at 2-0 in the 7th inning.
And one of those runs unearned. Yeah, the first inning, it looked like he was just a little flat, and Hatteberg took advantage of that. And in matchups like this, that could be the difference. I say could be the difference, and that's probably the disappointing thing these days of seeing a duel like this, because chances are they won't be around in the 9th inning. I mean, they might be, but it's just there's Roger at 102 pitches. You wouldn't think he'd go maybe more than another inning.
Splitter. 1-2.
You're thinking back in the days of what was that, the hookup between Warren Spahn and Juan Marichal? Both went 16 innings in a 1-0 game.
Willie Mays hit a home run off Spahn. 16th.
Wonder what the pitch count was that afternoon.
I tell you, there's Mr. Splitty. I tell you, he's gone to that pitch here the last couple innings. At least it looked like Mr. Splitty.
Hey, head to the stadium on Wednesday, May 14th, as the first 18,000 fans 14 and under receive a Yankees Legends baseball card pack. That's from Poland Spring. This pack contains cards of Scooter, Yogi, Whitey, and Mr. October. Visit the stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops. You can call Ticketmaster at 212-307-1212. Log on to Yankees.com. Here's Mark Johnson. Pitches outside. Foul tip, 1-1.
I mentioned that Mark Johnson had caught most of Ted Lilly's starts, but in the opening game of the series, David Wells pitched for the Yankees, and that's why Mark Johnson did not start. Didn't want that lefty-lefty.
Well, he's got that zoned in right now, that low and away to lefties. Lefties yesterday were 12 for 24 for Oakland. Pounded out a lot of hits, but other than the Hatteberg home run, Rogers got that thing going down and away.
And the 1-2. Mr. Splitty puts him away. 2 outs, 2 strikeouts. He now has 6 on the day. That'll bring up Mark Ellis, the leadoff hitter.
That's been the zone du jour for Clemens. Down and away when you get ahead in the count. That's why that pitch is so tough to hit, because it looks like a strike about right there, and then the bottom falls out of it.
Ellis got on base in what could be a very big run in this game. 1 out, 3rd inning, ground ball to Almonte. He boots it. E6. He later comes around to score an unearned run. That made it 2-0. Hatteberg had the home run in the first. That one's fouled off.
Almost seems like Rogers' fastball is better now than it was then. And there's an interesting. I was talking to Rob Kakuza, the Yankees equipment manager, before the game. He brought up an interesting point. Roger Clemens has never faced a pitcher. Both.
There's a fly ball to deep left center field. Matsui fights the sun, and he puts it away for the final out of a 1-2-3, and so Clemens has retired 6 in a row. At the end of 6.5, get up and stretch. It's Oakland 2 and the Yankees nothing. And while you're standing, why don't you listen to the voice of Yankee Stadium, Mr. Bob Shepard.
Michael, they're not into the bullpen yet in Boston. They're leading 4-0 against the Twins.
Stay tuned.
Yep.
We go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and Hideki Matsui leads off, and he had the little jelly leg there on the curveball, 0-1.
Pretty easy to do when you look at that Zito's curve.
The 0-1. That one a little further away, and the count 1-1.
This is what Michael's talking about. That knee will step, and then good curves will do that to you.
And the count 2-1. Very sedate crowd. You could feel that they want to cheer about something. Yankee offense hasn't been able to get anything going against Zito. There's a nice fastball strike on the outside corner, and the count 2-2.
Yeah, when he's had to make a pitch behind on the count, he's made a pretty good one time and time again.
Breaking ball, swung on, grounded through the left side for a base hit. Nice piece of hitting by Matsui. Leads off the 7th inning with a single.
Got a curveball and waited on it. A little higher than Zito and Johnson wanted it. See, this is going to come in about above the belt, a little above the belt. That curve designed to be about knee high. That's one of the rare mistakes that Zito has made today.
Mondesi, Sterling Hitchcock gets up in the Yankee bullpen. Mondesi digs in, and the breaking ball is a strike.
You can tell by Zito, he's a great visualizer. He's right back on the mound. He's only got one thing in mind, and that's Johnson's target. And the A's pitching staff, I think, maybe a little ahead of the curve in some of the scientific drills they do.
Line drive, base hit to left field for Mondesi. Matsui stops at second. Throw comes into Tejada. So the Yankees had 2 hits coming into the 7th, and now they have successive singles to open up the 7th. So they have doubled their hit output, but still waiting to get on the board.
Tried to sneak that fastball inside by Mondesi. He did it earlier in the game, but not this time. Remember, this is the 3rd time around for these Yankee hitters, so maybe the pattern is starting to become a little bit clearer.
Mondesi, the Yankees' 4th hit. He'll lead off first. Matsui off second. Bubba Trammell at the plate. No action in the A's bullpen. And the pitch. Hit deep to left field. Going back, Burns. Still back on the track. He makes the play up against the wall for the first out of the inning in the runner's retreat. Oh, Trammell had everybody on their feet, but just to a deep part of the ballpark, and Burns ran it down.
Yeah, the only thing saved him was it was Yankee Stadium. Deepest part of the ballpark. And Burns almost runs out of room. That's that danger of pitching inside early in the count when hitters are in an aggressive mode. And Zito and Johnson just barely got by with that one.
Talking about hits at the right time. As we look at 96 pitches, 58 strikes. Now's the right time to start getting them. You want that one hit. You got the runners aboard. You need the hits.
Here's Flaherty. And the pitch is low. First and second. Matsui's at second. Mondesi at first. 1 out, bottom of the 7th. The 1-0. Hit sharply, and a beautiful play by Chavez. He goes to second for 1 on the first double play. Oh, what a nice play on the glove side by Eric Chavez to start an around the horn 5-4-3 inning-ending double play. The Yankees feel snake bit. They hit the ball hard every single time in the inning, and they don't have anything to show for it. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left. We played 7 at the stadium as advertised, a pitcher's duel. It's Oakland 2, the Yankees nothing. We go to the 8th inning. Roger Clemens, his day is over. He had a chance to maybe get a run and get Clemens a win, but a great play.
Yeah, that's the play of the game, isn't it, Kenny?
Yeah, Chavez showing a Gold Glove style on that one. Nice spin move, and the reaction of the pitcher. Barry Zito,
Yeah, the Yankees, they hit the ball hard that inning. Some days it's like that against good. I think Zito would be the first one to admit that he's had a little good fortune today. The ball Bubba Trammell hit just stayed in, and that ball was scalded.
It's time for the Singular Wireless call to the bullpen. Singular, the wireless company that fits you best, and somewhat of a curious move by Joe Torre as he wants to match up with Hatterberg and Chavez, so he brings in a lefty, but that lefty is Sterling Hitchcock.
Well, I don't think they have a lot of confidence in Randy Choate throwing strikes. They use Acevedo in a hold situation or when it's tie, as well as Hammond. So with the Yankees down 2 and a couple lefties, by process of elimination, I think Joe's just kind of gambling a little and say, I mean, he's a pitcher on the staff. You got to use him sometime. So he's saying, let's see if he can get a couple outs.
And he has been pitching better of late. The 0-1 to Hatterberg. A little bit low.
I don't know if we updated Jose Contreras. He pitched today at AAA.
5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. He threw 87 pitches against Scranton Wilkes-Barre, and he allowed a 2-run home run to the second batter of the game, McKay Christensen. We told you about Jeter. He took 2 rounds of live BP, 25 swings each. Steve Carsey is also down in Tampa, and he's going to long toss tomorrow. And the Yankees really are not looking ahead as if he's in their plans. If he comes back, they'll be thrilled. The 2-1. Fouled off the foot. And Antonio Osuna also down at the complex in Tampa. He is planned to have a bullpen session on Tuesday. So that's the update.
You know, a couple innings ago, we had the graphic on the strikeout leaders, and I was talking about Roger. His strikeout total should be weighted a little better because he's faced very few pitchers. There have been some interleague games, but for the most part, he's pitched his entire career against DHs.
Popped him up. Right side of the infield. Here comes Giambi. 1 away.
And it doesn't diminish what Ryan and Carlton did. It just makes what Roger's done, I think, more impressive. To never pitch in a league where, you know, you figure Lefty and Nolan Ryan, the number of pitchers that they faced in their career, they got a lot of punch outs against them. Blyleven as well, though he went over to the National League, pitched for the Pirates.
Roger had 6 more today. But he's on the losing end right now. The pitch to Chavez is outside. It's 1-0. Chavez 1 for 1. Infield single third. Check that. That was a single right, and then he walked twice.
That was an outstanding play by Chavez in the field, and I think you know, his home run here yesterday to win the ball game, and you can see why he was a former #1 draft pick. It's really paid off, and maybe turning into the premier third baseman in the American League.
Their farm system should be awfully proud. They produced the 3 pitchers: Giambi, Tejada, Chavez, Ramon Hernandez. And a team with a lower payroll, their farm system has to produce for them to compete. Foul back, 2-2.
The development people in their system have done the job.
With their pitchers, their philosophy is to go for pitchers coming out of college, because they feel if you take a pitcher out of high school, you just don't know what he's going to get. He's only 18 years old. They're closer to a finished product. They don't have to spend as much time in the minor leagues if they go to college. That's what Billy Beane likes to draft pitchers-wise.
More maturity.
2-2.
They do it that way. The Yankees have developed a lot of their position players, and Andy Pettitte, really the only pitcher. They can afford to go out and buy their free agent pitchers, which Oakland in their market can't afford to do.
And that's usually the most expensive commodity on the free agent market. The 3-2. Still 3-2.
I mentioned the A's pitching staff scientific-wise with Rick Peterson. They're a little ahead of the curve with some of these drills, unusual drills. I was talking to Tim Hudson before the game. They actually, in their warm-up sessions, will throw pitches with their eyes closed. You know, just to visualize, because I was telling him about a great Canadian golfer, George Knudsen, years ago.
Struck him out.
Nice work by Hitchcock to get a couple of outs here. And let's look at Roger Clemens' afternoon. Looked like Mr. Splitty. That was a fastball at the knees. Splitter. Splitter. Mr. Splitty. And another one. So it looked like 1 strikeout on the fastball and the rest on the splitter.
Regal name, Mr. Splitty.
Yeah.
Pitch to Tejada is inside.
Yeah, George Knudsen once was a great Canadian golfer, and he found out instead of paying too much attention to what he was doing with his body, he just looked at long-range targets and started hitting them. So he actually put the club behind the ball, shot 66 with his eyes closed, and in a practice round.
Ground ball to second. Soriano is right there, gobbles it up, and a 1-2-3 inning for Sterling Hitchcock, who comes on and does a very nice job here in the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Yankees will take their hats. It's 2-0 Oakland. Hey, Yankee fans, Yankees.com shop has the best selection of Yankees gear, including caps, pullovers, and lots more. Visit Yankees.com and shop online today at the official site of the New York Yankees. Bottom of the 8th inning, Eric Almonte leads off against Barry Zito. And the pitch. Runs the hands up the bunt. A breaking ball strike on the outside corner. 0-1. Boy, that looked far outside.
He's done a nice job, Almonte, in situations like this. You know, we don't see the bunt for a base hit very often, and he's done it a couple of times, which there, you know, if he gets on, you got Soriano up as the tying run again.
Chavez about even with the bag at third, maybe a step behind. And the 0-1. Hit to left center field, giving chase is Burns on the run. He makes the play in Death Valley for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, the A's have 3 outfielders with decent speed out there, and all 3 of them capable of playing center field. Burns, I've been impressed with him in the outfield. I mean, he might be a little awkward, but he can go get him.
You know who he reminds me a little bit with his approach to the game is that we left Minnesota a short time ago. Dan Gladden, who's now doing their radio work. You know, a real get your nose in the dirt and play hard.
You can get all that stuff off in the shower, right?
Here's Soriano, and the pitch is low.
Kind of a frustrating afternoon for the Yankee hitters. Granted, they're going against a terrific pitcher, but there have been a lot of those just missed. You know, like fly balls just so he's had the ability to take a little off, put a little on, and he's just been able to keep it off the fat of the bat enough. Of course, Trammell's was the one that he really got by with.
One pitch. Inside, 2-1. Way outside, 3-1. Left-hander Ricardo Rincon warming for the A's in their bullpen. And he is the only left-hander in the bullpen. So they have to pick when to use him.
You would think he's getting ready for Giambi. Jim Messier, ex-Yankee, was up earlier. Right-hander.
Missed inside, so Soriano works a walk.
I was talking to Ken Mock, the A's manager, before the game. There he is, and his back to you. And he was telling me at the other night, the first game of the series where he had Rincon up and he didn't bring him in. And he didn't bring him in because it was early in the game. When you have your lone left-hander, you got to really save him for the right opportunities. What if I bring him in the 6th inning? Then all of a sudden in the 9th inning, I need a lefty to face Giambi. He's already gone. I don't have anybody. So you have to make prudent use of that one left-hander.
I tell you, if you're out there watching at home and you're under 50 and you can throw pretty well, you know, get a glove and start playing catch. I mean, there is a real need for some left-handers that can come out of the bullpen and get a left-hand hitter out.
And the 0-1 to Zeal. Fastball high.
Or if you have a youngster, you know,
yeah.
And you give him the first glove, give him that, put the glove on his right hand, make him throw left-handed.
You scour those rosters in the big leagues today, other than Minnesota, who has 3 of them down there. There are very few clubs have enough lefties.
Another high fastball in the count, 2-1. See the distribution of outs today for Zito. 11 on the ground, 8 on the fly, and 3 strikeouts. 2-1. Hit sharply and past the diving Chavez, but foul. Third base umpire Brian O'Nora right there. Boy, was that close to being a brilliant play by Chavez. And Joe Torre, who has a great angle from the Yankee dugout, he's almost right there, is jogging out to talk with O'Nora.
Tough for Brian O'Nora to see the play because he was diving out of the way at the same time the ball came down there.
I explained to Joe what he saw, and it's a hot smash. And Joe's contention if it goes over the bag, but if this is a line drive, it actually goes into foul territory. Or did Chavez touch it? But it's not where Chavez is. It's where the ball is.
Now, if it had chopped at any point around home plate and crossed over the bag there and landed foul, then it can be a fair ball. But as Kenny said, if it's in the air right from the bat, doesn't matter if it crosses over the bag fair, it's where it lands, and that landed foul clearly. So Joe has his say. Soriano at first. One out here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Maybe Joe had another purpose of going on, just breaking up the rhythm of Zito. Just make him stand out there and wait a little bit.
Popped up. Short left field. Going to be a tough play. Tejada makes the play right at the line. In fair territory for the 2nd out of the inning. Now, if you're Ken Maka, you have to let Zito pitch to Giambi. That, again, I wonder why Rincon was warming, but now Rincon sits down. I guess the answer would be if Zeal got on, maybe he goes to another pitcher to
it
change
looked like
things up.
Zito was laboring or something. He wanted to have him ready. Well, this is great. I mean, Clemens pitched a terrific game, one of the runs unearned. Here you are in the 8th inning, and you got Zito against Giambi. And remember, left-handers have hit him pretty well. If he hangs one of those curveballs right here, that'll be the most dangerous pitch.
He's thrown 110 pitches. Here's 111, and the pitch way inside. Former teammates. Giambi used to be the head of the A's clubhouse, bunch of young kids, and they all looked up to him. Strike on the outside corner, 1-1.
Kitty, every time he falls behind, that next pitch is just nasty. I mean, almost unhittable. That's how you win Cy Young Awards.
Way inside, and the count 2-1. On deck, Bernie Williams.
Yeah, it seems like they have a pitching plan, and they don't care about the scoreboard situation or anything. You know, he's right back on the mound, locked in. You can't guess change up, but that's probably what he'll get right here.
Well, he moved him off the plate and came back with a fastball. Looks like that's what they're going to do. Yeah, they did it the previous. You know, you watch the pattern. First pitch was inside, moved him off the plate, then hit the outside corner. Moved him off the plate, outside corner. It's like remember Muhammad Ali with a jab? Jab set up the punch. You know, jab shut up the punch.
Two-two. Breaking ball, strike 3. Giambi down looking, and he ended up punching him out. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left. Giambi talks it over with Poncino. It is a nasty, nasty hook. Nose to toes. We go to the 9th inning. Oakland 2, the Yankees nothing. New York Yankees baseball has been brought to you in part by Avis, the official rental car company of the New York Yankees, and by Heineken. It's all about the beer. Heineken. Durazo leads off against Hitchcock in his 2nd inning of relief of Roger Clemens, and the count 1-0. 2-4-1 Oakland, 0-4-1 for the Yankees. Hitchcock went 1-2-3 in the 8th inning against the A's. And the pitch a little bit low. You know, we took another look at that pitch that ended the inning, and that looked a little bit upstairs.
Yeah,
we'll
it
take
was.
another look at it.
Yeah, because we've talked about that low pitch that when the catcher catches it, it's low, but it actually goes through the. Well, Mark Johnson caught that, and it made it look like a strike. But when it went through the strike of the zone, it was a ball. And this is what Jason. Now watch Johnson's glove. Curveball's going to come in, and it's about helmet high right now. Then as Johnson catches it, he brings it down. So Poncino calls it a strike. But if you look at it from the side view, and we will in a moment, you'll see that it was clearly high. That pitch is going to come almost right across there. And that's too high to be called a strike for a curveball. So Johnson influenced that call by the way he caught it. That's rare. There are a lot of strikes that catchers catch out of the strike zone. That was a ball that he pulled in.
There's a strike.
He had 2 reputations working there, former MVP and a Cy Young Award winner. So who was going to get the break?
Keith Falk, the closer, warming in the A's bullpen. And the 3-2. Foul back.
You were talking a while ago about that commemorative poster, which is really, but the other very special thing the Yankees have coming up for Yankee merchandise, they're going to actually have their own 2-hour special on QVC, which hits about 85 million households. Moose Skowron and Hank Bauer are going to be selling the Yankee merchandise. That's on the 6th of May. That should be fun to watch.
3-2. Driven out to deep center field. Going back, Bernie Williams. He has room, and in dead center, he puts it away for the first out of the inning.
I think that's my mom's favorite network.
QVC.
Yeah. She gets a lot of her, Christmas presents in July.
It's her second favorite network after Yes.
Yeah, well, I was going to bring that up.
Here's Terrence Long, and Hitchcock looks like a different pitcher the last couple of times he's been out. He looks like he has command of his stuff, and maybe they're pitching him more. And he just feels like he has a better idea out there on the mound. Because that's been the old conundrum. Well, you're not pitching well, so we can't pitch you more. Well, I can't pitch well unless you pitch me more. Pitches outside.
So I mentioned the other night, pitchers like Sterling have to play games with themselves. They have to do a lot of extra throwing in the bullpen. Imaginary games. Actually get to the point where you throw more than you think you should, just to make sure you're ready.
There's a strike.
Well, Joe actually, when he did bring him in the game today, it was a situation where he could succeed with all these left-handed hitters in the lineup with Hatterberg and Chavez and Durazo and now Long.
Swing and a miss. The count 1-2.
Be a big plus for the Yankees if he could come around to the point where he's doing what he's doing today. Just come in and, get a lefty out or pitch an inning here and there. That's the biggest need over the long haul that this ball club will have.
One-two pitch. Fouled away. There's no secret that the Yankees would listen and are listening to offers for Hitchcock. They don't want to pay the guy's whole salary because he could start on a lot of teams, and the better he is, well, then they start to think about whether they want to keep him or not, and that would make it more attractive on the trade market. The 1-2 is inside. Along with Jim Cotton, Ken Singleton, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball on the Yes Network, and we advertise it as a pitcher's duel, and that's exactly what it is. Clemens against Zito. Opened with a run in the first inning, a Scott Hatterberg home run, and then an unearned run in the third inning, and that's it. 2-0. 2-2. Foul out. Yankees have had their opportunities against Zito, but when he had to, he got tough. He had some good defense behind him. Eric Chavez turning a beautiful around-the-horn double play to get out of a sweaty inning, and that's where we stand right now, 2-0 in the ninth. And I think this is one of those times where the Yankees would be happy to see Keith Foulke rather than Barry Zito. 2-2. He struck him out. 5 in a row for Hitchcock. Hey, Tuesday night on Yes, the Yankees begin their West Coast road trip with Matsui Ichiro, the rematch against the Mariners in Seattle. Complete coverage begins at 9:30 with Fred Hickman and the Yankees pregame. Then join Bobby Mercer and me as we call all the action beginning at 10. Yankees against the Mariners Tuesday night starting at 9:30 only on Yes. Here's Eric Burns, and there's a strike. Tuesday starters. Pretty good matchup. Andy Pettit against Jamie Moyer. Andy won the last time these two hooked up here at the stadium earlier in the week. Popped up in the infield. Almonte and Soriano. Soriano with the call and the catch. And Hitchcock, 2 perfect innings. He's done his job. He's given the Yankees an opportunity to win the game. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Last slicks. It'll be Yankees against Foulke. We head to the bottom of the 9th. It's a good time to take a look at the play of the game, brought to you by Continental Airlines, the official airline of the New York Yankees. Continental Airlines, work hard, fly right.
Well, the best threat of the afternoon for the Yankees was in the 7th inning. Well, this is an inning-ending double play started by Eric Chavez, the Gold Glove third baseman of the Oakland A's. And that's our Continental Airlines play of the game, and a beauty by Chavez.
New pitcher for the Oakland A's, Keith Foulke. Their closer comes on. Good numbers.
Had a rocky outing yesterday. He's the guy Jason Giambi hit the game-tying home run off. And Usually, when you digest all those numbers, you're pretty good against anybody, but he is particularly tough against lefties with that changeup.
Fell behind Giambi yesterday, and a 3-1 pitch went to the fastball, and it disappeared.
Got a 45,446 at the stadium, getting into it. And Bernie Williams hits one far the other way, but it slices foul. Bernie is 5 for 12 with a home run lifetime against Polk.
And if the Yankees don't come back, this will be the first series they've lost all year.
And they will lose back-to-back games for the second time this season. The 0-1. Got him. He will take first base. Bernie tried to jackknife out of the way. And that will bring the tying run to the plate in the person of Hideki Matsui.
Fans tune in today for an afternoon of great premieres on Yes First after the post game. Yes proudly presents the third installment of the history of the Yankees, 1956 to 1979, chronicling some of the most memorable years of Yankee baseball. Then joined by colleague Michael Case, sits down for an hour of conversation with the Yankees' great Bobby Mercer on center stage. It's an afternoon of great premieres today, starting after the post game, only on Yes.
Matsui is 1 for 3. He has shown a flair for the dramatic before. Let's see if he has it here. And the pitch. Blocked by Johnson. Didn't know where it was, then recovered, and the count 1-0.
That keeps the double play in order. On the changeup, nice block by Johnson. These two were a battery together with the Chicago White Sox before they were traded over here.
Got just enough leather on that one.
Yeah, Folk is he's pawing around the mound. What happens when a reliever comes in? You've had Zito and Clemens and Hitchcock out there. They've all been stepping in the same zone right in there where Folk plants his foot. And on the Bernie Williams pitch, he actually slipped. Front foot slipped almost out from under.
Bernie leads off first, held by Hatterberg. And there's a strike. Folk has better numbers against lefties. 143 lefties hit against him. Right-handers had a 250 clip, and that's because of the changeup. And there's a right-hander, Mondesi, on deck. Strike on the outside corner, 1-2. Matsui faced Folk yesterday and struck out. 2-0 Oakland leads, bottom of the 9th inning at the stadium. And the 1-2. Outside, 2-2.
Folk is not of the fireballing closer variety, but he does have the changeup is his, if you would call it a strikeout changeup, I guess you could, particularly the lefties.
2-2. Foul back.
Ken Maka knows his staff better than anybody, and I'm sure they pay close attention to pitch counts and whatever, but I've been hard-pressed to pull Barry Zito out of this game. You've got Matsui, the second hitter, and the way he was pitching.
Two-two. Deep to right center field, but not deep enough. Long is there. And Long and Singleton run into each other, and Singleton makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Like Matsui got that off the end of the bat.
Remember what I said about all three of them are capable of playing center field? That means they all have good range, and they think they're the king of the outfield. And Long's been playing center field for the last few years as Matsui doesn't get the fat part of the bat on the ball, and Singleton is actually the center fielder and the one in charge. And he says, I got it, and it's up to Long to listen. Now, sometimes you don't hear because of the crowd, but that collision should not have happened.
Here's Mondesi. Chavez is playing on the line at third, guarding against the extra base hit. They don't want the tying run in scoring position. They'll give up the single. High pop-up left side. Chavez is there. 2 away. And the Yankees, with one shot now, will send up Nick Johnson to pinch hit for Bubba Trammell.
If you like percentages, I think Nick's done pretty well against Fulton. Got, of course, the double before Giambi's home run yesterday.
Hitting .667 against the reliever, 2 for 3, and both of those doubles. Posada comes out on deck for the Yankees. Now, would you have used Posada to try and tie the game?
Well, that's what he's using Johnson for.
Posada has more power, but Bernie goes. He'll steal second, but it'll be called defensive indifference, as it should.
I think this is where those numbers come into play, where Nick has had 3 good at-bats against him, a couple of doubles.
And the 0-1. Driven out to center field. This should do it. Singleton is there, and he will put it away for the final out of the inning. And the A's beat the Yankees 2-0. And this is the Yankees' first loss in a series all year. Roger Clemens and Barry Zito gave everyone what they expected, what was advertised in marquee pitching matchup, a home run in the first inning by Hatterberg, an unearned run in the third inning, and that was the scoring as the A's beat the Yankees 2-0 and beat the Yankees 2-1 in this weekend series here at Yankee Stadium. Coming up, we want you to remember the Nissan postgame show. Bob Lorenz is going to give all the highlights and all the details and give you every single score from around Major League Baseball. We're going to wrap this baby up when we get back. We'll break it down, we'll wrap it up, and we will be back with that. So stay tuned. Oakland beats the Yankees 2-0. A Sunday in New York does not end well for the New York Yankees. They lose to the A's 2-0. 2-4-1 beats 0-4-1. Zito, last year's Cy Young Award winner, gets the win 5-2. Clemens, the Cy Young Award winner in 2001, he takes a loss 4-2. Keith Falk, his 8th save. The time of the game, a delightfully manageable 231. Hatterberg 1 for 4, a home run. Zito 8 innings, 4 hits, did not allow a run, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. So the Yankees end up losing their first series of the year. They're shut out for the second time, both on this homestand. Gil Mesh shut them out the other time. Coming up on the YES Network, the Nissan New York Yankees postgame with Bob Lorenz, featuring complete analysis of today's game. Special thanks to our producer Kevin Smolin, director John Moore, and executive producer John Filippelli. Join us again Tuesday for Yankees baseball as the Yankees take on the Mariners at Safeco Field. The action gets underway at 9:30 with the New York Yankee pregame show. For more on the YES Network, log on to YesNetwork.com. For Ken Singleton and Jim Cott, I'm Michael Kay saying see ya from Yankee Stadium. Once again, the final score, the A's 2, the Yankees 0. Now, let's go to Bob Lorenz in our studio.